Hey, and welcome back here to Contenders Trials for Europe. Labasco, Vowels, and Kenobi here with you. But we're going to go right to our casters here as we're going to jump right into Copenhagen Flames versus Bazooka Puppies. So, Ham, Boop, take it away.
Thank you, Lobo. We'll hear more from him and the desk here at halftime. But for now, you're going to have to deal with me, Boopasaurus, and the venerable Ham Tornado. Copenhagen Flames versus Bazooka Puppies. Today is going to be a great game.
I'm honestly very excited, Boop. I mean, so far already, EU Trials has been, showing up to be some spicy matchups. If you guys missed it, Oshtek Warriors unfortunately fell in their last round, but a very close game that went all the way to 5 maps. So.
Yep, and so this one definitely has that potential too. One thing that I do want to talk about is this is the old Eagle Gaming's roster on Copenhagen. Not the whole one, but a lot of them are there, and they came off a pretty good season, if I say so myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Winning counts. Winning it all counts as a pretty good season, right? Difficulties with the organization notwithstanding, really happy that all of the players have found a new home now, and they will be competing once again in trials. But we talk a lot about these players' histories, these teams' histories, but here, after having won an entire contender season, and I have to slog through trials again, Boop, do you foresee this, making a big impact on the Flames at all?
I think it does, because they're coming in, they have to do this all over again, right? And so they won contenders, and now they are going back into trials, and they have to go through once again to try to win contenders. They are battle tested though, as they were the last ones to playing in the finals, right?
Exactly. Hey, they've done it once before. It should be easy peasy one more time against Bazooka Puppies. Now, this is also a very seasoned team. In fact, the only team that's hung around in the Tier 2 scene all the way from Season 0. The roster has gone through some matchups, but leading the charge will be Mete, one of their tank players here. This time around, not on that main tank, showing that Hammond. It'll be Milky Man picking up the Winston. But Bazooka Puppies coming in with that Doomfist Sombra dive, meeting Goats with Copenhagen Flames.
And Hammond goes ahead and pile drives onto the ground, knocking 3 up. And Mete's doing the damage. That's going to back him up and get the first kill of the series onto Puppiez Brigitte. The point is not open just yet. We got 5 more seconds before that. Pile drive misses, hits the bridge, doesn't get on it to the low ground, but Mete is going to try to be as annoying as possible right now. The fight has commenced. Everyone is back, and the supports are low for Copenhagen Flames. Bod is the first to go down. It's a 6v5 on this first point, and already look at this, a meteor strike from Zapri.
Meteor strike, 2 kills right away for this Doomfist as well, and Copenhagen Flames. There's just a couple of bodies left here for them to try and hang on. Bazooka Puppies, they're definitely going to get this first point cap, and a really intelligent team composition rolling right out of spawn. It's all about that disruption, Boop. You have that Hammond, Cranks on the Sombra, and Zapri on that Doomfist. Copenhagen Flames, they're going to be swapping things up as well. Hardest swapping onto the McCree just for that stun potential to keep Sombra from, free farming in that backline. But of course, they are going to be coming in with that disadvantage. EMP out, but Cranks actually gets stunned out of it.
And they're going to go ahead and take this fight on the high ground. Sound barrier is out for Copenhagen Flames, gets everybody, so everyone has that extra HP. Hardest is going to need to pop off right now. His hit scan is well known, particularly on this McCree, but Bot is going to be the first to fall again. 2 supports down, 1 on each side. This is a 5v5, and during the fight, Copenhagen Flames were able to flip the point.
Yep, Copenhagen Flames coming out, speed boosting out with a vengeance. Bazooka Puppies potentially a little bit, not quite expecting that. They were trying to throw in just Crank's EMP, but with that Sombra out of the fight so early on, Bazooka Puppies, they unfortunately gave it up. But coming back in, they will have both the Sound Barrier and that Nano Boost. Zapri can certainly make a lot of room with that ultimate invested onto the Doomfist.
And the Puppies tried to get back onto the point, but to no avail. Copenhagen Flames retains control. Bazooka Puppies are going to have to come in and take it themselves. Lucas is in there with the Nano, who's had the Discord Orb on him. Another Meteor Strike, Hannah.
Another Meteor Strike comes in. Milky Man getting taken a little bit low, but adding all of that massive amount of cleave. Now a zoning self-destruct from Heiko, not going to be picking up anything, but Bazooka Puppies already. So many kills coming their way. Zachary's on fire, and deservedly so. Man, this Doomfist has been working wonders so far. Cranks as well, nearly up to yet another EMP. Very back and forth fight so far, Boop, it seems to be largely won off of these ultimates.
Yep, the Zapri's Doofus is striking fear in the face of Copenhagen Flames right now. 2 meteor strikes already, and we're not even at 50% on either side so far. So he's gonna be the one they need to focus down. They put the Discord Orb on him, but we're unable to complete the kill. Milky Man is gonna start off with another kill for Bazooka Puppies. The supports keep going down first, and that's exactly what you want to see in these fights. And because Lobo was able to go down first, they have to reset.
Yeah, and a really smart mind placement as well from Mete. He nearly gets taken down, hits the corner of the wall. We all been there trying to play that Hammond, but that zoning minefield forced Copenhagen to regroup right there. And Bazooka Puppies, that's all free point percentage as another big EMP this time around does connect. It's massive. Milky Man in there once again. Sound barrier, you know, excuse me, there was no sound barrier, but that's actually good news for Bazooka Puppies as they will still have ultimates to continue to hold here. Copenhagen Flames, they're down to their last shot.
And Bazooka Puppies has another meteor strike combined with that nano. They've been able to put in the damage because of that combo, but the ultimate economy for Bazooka Puppies is so much better. They do not have the EMP for this fight. They do have the pile driver, as Hammond was able to knock 4 into the air, and an Earth Shatter is going to go down for Copenhagen Flames. Super Fluke has given themselves a chance right now to flip the point. It is a 4v5 right now, and Copenhagen Flames, though, are going to make this even by going down themselves. They were able to flip the point. Bazooka Puppies maintains that ultimate economy, but this game's going to go on a little bit longer, Han.
Just a little bit, though, Boop, potentially, as Bazooka Puppies, like you said, they have so many tools in their bank right now. Copenhagen, they barely, by the skin of their teeth, managed to get some bodies onto the point off the back of an amazing Earth Shatter from Super Fluke, which is going to be one of the biggest weaknesses of Bazooka Puppies. They're not going to have that big static Rhine shield to protect themselves from such ultimates. Heiko now just looking to zone away that high ground, but getting taken low, forced to self-destruct.
Oh, and that's going to have to be for the remix. So no kills off of that self-destruct. They're going to want that back. Heiko needs that mech to maintain his tank presence on at this point. We're in one fight territory, my friends. Whoever wins this next fight is going to win this round of it. Nepal, the charge from the Reinhardt is going to be aggressed upon as he is now out of position. Taking a long time to put him down. The time to kill was a little low, but in the back, like Franks was helping out, taking down that Zenyatta. Copenhagen Flames throws out that sound barrier because they have to at this point. Ham, meteor strike goes down, gets nothing, takes Brigitte very, very low. Bazooka Puppies are in control of this round.
Bazooka Puppies absolutely rolling in here, and they're looking ready to flip the point. Overtime wick burning down, and what a masterful fight in that last second. Bazooka Puppies, I mean, they had plenty of tools, and the execution there was excellent. You saw them coming in first, you know, recognizing the fact that Super Fluke, you know, coming in with that charge. First, he gets hit with that sleep dart, and then the Doomfist, you know, jumps right on top of him. That's a really unfortunate mispositioning from a veteran player like Super Fluke. A little bit unfortunate, certainly, you know, didn't help Copenhagen Flames' his chances to stay on that point. Anytime you're running that GOATS-esque composition, you really need your Reinhardt to be positioned as effectively as possible to protect your McCree, you know, just apply that point presence. But past round is a past round, Boop. Moving on into Shrine now. Copenhagen, they still have their chance to even things up here.
Cranks has been popping off in the backline as well, making his presence, or actually lack of presence in that stealth known. Getting that information, right? Very sneaky. Let's see if Cranks is going to be able to be as effective on that Cyrus as he was last round. He had a couple really big EMPs. We're going to be looking at Cranks to get that ult charge quickly here. Copenhagen Flames on the back foot. Got to win 2 in a row to win this round here on Shrine. Pile Drive is there. Going to get a lot of ult charge already at 40% on Mete. The Bionade is there as well. Super Fluke is going to stay low, and they take advantage of that as Cranks is going to get the first kill.
Yeah, Copenhagen, they were positioned quite well there, but a beautiful anti-nade from Saab denies all of the burst healing from Bod's Moira, and that's all the opening that Bazooka Puppies need as they now have taken that first point cap. Copenhagen, they need to get a clean wipe in order to flip this point back, but every time they try to push forward, there's a Hammond in their backline.
And a Hammond with an ultimate right now. Bod does have Coalescence, which can rip through those mines. Maybe he's going to wait for Mete to drop this proximity mines first, but for now, Super Fluke is going to get the first kill. Heiko is hacked by Crank, so it's going to be ult charge for him. He's going to get the EMP for the next fight. During this fight, Copenhagen were able to flip the point. We're at 21% for Bazooka Puppies.
21%, not too bad, but they will have to, could be better. It could always be better, but they will have to contend with Hardis's Graviton Surge, which is likely going to be the ultimate that Copenhagen Flames are hanging on to try and hold this. But of course, Cranks with this EMP. In fact, Bazooka Puppies sitting at a full 6-pack. could have all of the tools they need in order to retake this.
So they need to decide which ultimates they're going to use right here, right now to take this, because we're at a 6v6 in terms of ultimate economy. Rally for Flippy is out, so that's going to go ahead and pump in some damage, waiting to use the Nano Boost at the right time. The hardest self-bubble is not there, so he's very vulnerable to some damage. The EMP along with the Graviton Surge is going to knock everybody out, but not until after the sound barrier goes down, so the shields are going to stay and maintain. Looking at both sides, 4 ultimates have gone down for each team. They both have 2 more. Copenhagen went ahead and used all 6, and so has Bazooka Puppies, and we're seeing a Primal Rage boop off of the environment right now. So this fight is in Bazooka Puppies' hand, as they do have 1 more person on the field. However, the percentage points for Copenhagen Flames is increasing. They're in stall territory right now. Every death is just another 2% on this point.
Yeah, and Copenhagen Flames, I mean, the time to kill for Bazooka Puppies hasn't been very long, and so that's allowed Copenhagen to get all of their members back here. Super Pluky's back, swinging with all of his might. He's about 50% yet another EMP. Milky Man trying his absolute best. Is going to be Zafri drawing first blood. Super Pluke is down, and this is the opening Bazooka Puppies need to capitalize on. Zafri coming in, finds Flippy with that Meteor Strike, and this may finally be Bazooka Puppies' chance to flip here if they can just get rid of this one obnoxious Lucio.
But look at that stall, Ham, 96%. They had a fight there at around 20%, and they couldn't finish it off. Copenhagen Flames very, very close to winning this round. The Bazooka Puppies, looking at that ult counter, they were completely even at the beginning of that last fight, and now have more in the bank than Copenhagen Flames does. Milky Man has the Primal Rage, exactly what you want in an endgame scenario just like this. Bot's going to go ahead and get killed by the mine during Coalescence. You're going to get that shutdown credit, maybe the play of the game. Bazooka Puppy still has those ults, and they have control of the point.
Yeah, this is the best case scenario for Bazooka Puppies, using just that minefield alongside the Nano Boost to try and hold things out. Copenhagen Flames, you know, they're biding their time here. They still have both of those tank ultimates, Graviton Surge and Earth Shatter, at the ready. Once again, Bazooka Puppies, they do not have a Diva or a Reinhardt to block either of these or eat up that Graviton Surge, so they're likely just going to have to take this. Cave drops that sound barrier.
In response to the Graviton Surge, the Earth Shatter is down too. They're going to use everything to grab this point back. They only need to win 1 more fight to win this round. That's exactly what we're going to see. Is Hager going to be able to get the kill into the Baby Diva form? Yes, with a little bit of help from Lobo as well. So Bazooka Puppies, once again, are in the backseat. Primal Rage is the only thing keeping them alive in overtime right now. He's going to have to stall until the rest of his team comes back. Zachary's going to get that kill with that Meteor Strike to give them another opportunity. Everyone is back for Bazooka Puppies here in just a couple seconds, and here they are. This is another reset fight onto the point. Lobo is down. 1 less support for the Copenhagen Flames. Is the proximity mine gonna be enough? The damage is there. Flippy is down. Bazooka Puppies look like they could take this back, but the time to kill him needs to be a little bit better, and here it is. They got it.
Zafri with the 1-shot kills. Oh, finds Super Pook right here. I can't believe Mete was able to stall with that minefield ring around the column for this. Hammond and Bazooka Puppies in the last second are able to flip things. That was incredible, Boop. The amount of hustle that we saw from Bazooka Puppies, not just Milky Man there. He started everything off with that Primal Rage, buying enough time, and now best news is Pranks, he has that EMP. He gets the hack off onto Super Pluke. There it goes.
The pile drive kept them off of the point. No overtime. Bazooka Puppies are going to go up 1-0 against the Copenhagen Flames. That's a great start for them. They lost a crushing 5-game set the last time we saw the Bazooka Puppies, and right now they are in the lead 1-0 against the defending champions.
Yeah, and that is no small feat, Boop, coming up against essentially Eagle Gaming, who took it all in Contenders last season. You know, the Puppies are off to a great start off the back of, you know, some amazing Doomfist and Sombra plays, not to mention the Hammond from Mete. We know this guy plays a very capable main tank, and, you know, Hammond is still up in the air as to, you know, where the Wrecking Ball fits in with those other compositions, how he works with his other tank comrades. But in this case, I mean, the Winston Hammond works so beautifully. I really like the fact that Milky Man was on the Winston. You do have some kind of shielding with that bubble, which is going to be crucial to break those lines of sight.
Yeah, something I saw from the Copenhagen Flames though was a lack of commitment into their fights. They invested so much in that 6 ultimate fight. I believe they won it, but in the end they weren't able to maintain because the time to kill, even with all those resources, was too slow.
That is one of the difficulties anytime you are running a goats-esque composition or a very tank-heavy composition, is there's very little damage to be found. Oftentimes your Zarya is going to be your primary damage dealer, and so there is a lot of interplay that needs to revolve around this Zarya, making sure that she's staying healthy, that she's at high charge. The other way that some teams take it is they invest a lot of resources into their Reinhardt. So instead of the Zarya using really focusing on herself, they turn the Reinhardt into that battering ram, bubbles onto the Rhine to, plow through, give a little bit more space, charge up that Earth Shatter very quickly. But in this case, Copenhagen, they just weren't quite able to pivot quickly enough to respond to, Hammond's, Sombra's, Doomfist. There's so many threats coming at them from the Puppies.
Well, and they forgot about the Primal Raging Winston at the very end of the game. They got the kills, but they weren't able to confirm the round. They were at 99. We said they only need to win one fight. Well, hey, they won it. All they needed to do was clean it up, and the cleanup was not there.
A time to kill is one of those difficult things when you're running goats, as well as, you are not going to be able to react as quickly to what the enemy team is throwing at you. But, hey, we've tasted our first Hammond, I believe, this time around in this series, and I'm really excited to see if, potentially we may be able to see a little bit more Wrecking Ball, because honestly, Mete was playing it perfectly.
Yeah, those pile drives, well, one, that made sure no one got onto the point in the end and provides so much ult charge so quickly. And when you're pile driving in, your shield is going to be way higher as it increases based on how many people are around you. So knowing exactly how that character works is allowing Mete to utilize it to the best of his ability.
Exactly. Every time you're coming up against a death ball, it's in the name. Everybody's going to be grouped up, pile drive in. It's kind of this whole idea of the interplay between the Hammond, the Sombra, and the Doomfist. I'll knock them up, I'll hack them up, and you punch them down, right? And Hammond comes in there, pile drives down, thanks for the shield, see ya, and then rolls right out. And the mine placements from Mete as well, very intelligent, using it as, not necessarily a last-ditch effort to stall the point, but in a very proactive way. We saw him dropping that ultimate in those choke points on Village, in those small hallways, and on Shrine as well, to zone away this very slow-moving ground-based comp.
The cool thing about the Mine Ultimate from Hammond is it just changes the geometry of the field that you're playing on. It's not necessarily there to get kills. It's great if it does, but in at the end, you're just depleting the space that the enemy team can participate in a fight in.
Exactly. And taking that real estate is something that GOATS needs to have in order to be most effective. To be able to use those barriers, those bubbles, those big HP bodies, you need to be, fighting on the field, right? On the objective. If you can never quite get there due to the zoning, then, you're not really as effective as you could be, because GOATS is, largely melee range.
So the Puppies looking very, very good. We are very close to our next map, but let's talk a little bit more about those pups. They are coming in 0-1 here. The last thing you want to do in a round robin format is go down 0-2. It pretty much, miracles do happen. You can win your next 4 games, but it is a tough uphill climb to get there. Eagle Gaming coming in with that 1-0 record. Bazooka Puppies, this is arguably a must-win situation.
Yeah, certainly you do not want to go 0-2. Puppies, they've had some really strong moments in the past, but they have struggled when it came, to kind of sealing the deal. You get into contenders, you fall into regulation. That has kind of been the story for this team. And, throughout their iterations on their team rosters, and, maybe this time around, this is going to be the winning competition. Actually, speaking of Mete's Hammond, we've talked about his heroes quite a bit, but the player himself, he is actually one of the only players on Bazooka Puppies who's, stayed with this team throughout all of their changes.
Yeah, Bazooka Puppies has been around since Contender Season 0, and there's been a lot of iterations of that team, and maybe this one is going to be the one that's the Goldilocks version, right?
Exactly. Not too hot, not too cold,
But
not too aggro,
right.
not too passive.
Well, just like how you want your pups, right?
Exactly.
Not too aggro, not too passive.
Not too aggro, not too passive, not too big, not too small. People who have those teacup dogs and they put them around in their purses.
Yeah.
I like those dogs. Some people don't like toy dogs, but I'm like, I love all kinds of dogs, but to me it's more like a large rodent, right?
Interesting.
Rodents are cute too.
Yeah, rodent. You would know. Anyway, the map is coming up soon, my friends. And just to tell everyone where we're at, Bazooka Puppies are up 1-0 after getting a 2-0 on Nepal, and now we are in Eichenwald, the big castle. We're going to say portcullis a couple of times, I am sure. We're looking at the team comps now. The defense is showing a very similar thing they ran in Nepal. What kinds of things might we see, Ham?
Yeah, there is going to be a McCree on the field, potentially. Most likely that would be a very good pick for the Flames. Hardest, as you've said, Boop is a very capable hit scan player. The question for me is going to be, how do the Flames set him up for success? Because McCree is one of those heroes who requires quite a bit of resource. He doesn't have a ton of mobility, not really any self-sustain himself. So it's going to be all up to Flippy, Super Ploop to keep him safe, Heiko as well. Because Bazooka Puppies, potentially they may be coming out with, a triple DPS, a little unlikely, Milky Man. Maybe a Sombra, though, might be more likely here, as she was worked so well in that Nepal round. And so Copenhagen, again, they're just going to need to make sure that their back line is well protected, as Bod himself is also going to be very vulnerable to any kind of dives, hacks, doomfists of that sort.
Well, and they know Mete's probably coming in with that ham and a lot of great grappling hook places on this map to get some big pile drives. Can actually get them through this first choke point if the pile drive is good enough and there's enough damage coming in from the rest of Bazooka Puppies. And we're going to find out here in just 1 second as Mete is going to go ahead and scout out and let his team know exactly what they're about to see. The Discord orb is on him. He's able to get through the bridge and onto the high ground, again, just for the information. Man.
They see me rolling. Cranks on this Pharah, though, a classic hero that we see very often on Eichenwald. A lot of high ground, a lot of, map environment to play around. However, he really is testing his luck going up against a McCree of hardest caliber, and there may be some swaps as Bazooka Puppies reevaluates the playing field. Yes, they will be going on to their own Goats-esque composition, but with Saab on that Zenyatta, so very close to a mirror matchup from Copenhagen. They're really going to be looking to get a lot of value out of Zapri's Zarya, though, because that is the only difference between the two comps.
Ooh, really great stun from Hardest to get that kill. Super Fluke is going to be the one that gets the confirmation, however. And so now it's a 5v6. They're going to go ahead and cede that space, Bazooka Puppies, and reset. No need to feed more ultimate charge.
Exactly. A wise full team regroup right there. Zapri, they don't want this Zarya to lose any of her charge here. However, the next time they engage, they're going to be coming up against Hardest. High Noon. He pops it right away, going for the zone. Copenhagen. Oh, and they find Milky Man. What a beautiful shot.
Yeah, what a shield bash from Brigitte to allow that kill to go down. That was all Flippy right there. Do exactly what he needed to do and finished the job. Copenhagen Flames looking great on this defense.
Yeah, absolutely. And the best news is this is now when their support ultimates are going to be coming into play. So Zapri, while he is very close to his own Graviton Surge, Copenhagen are going to be more than ready to meet him with those ultimates. Flippy as well, very close to that rally, might pop it right away just to give Flames a little bit more cushion.
Yeah, Copenhagen's economy is just better right now. Their GDP is way higher. They have the 3 ultimates for them. Superfluke can go ahead and get a major shatter. That is what you call a fatty shatty, my friends. And the obvious follow-up to that would be an insane amount of kills, and Copenhagen does confirm them all.
Great execution. It's not just about having those plans, but the ability to execute as well. Hardest set up on that bridge, ready with that flashbang, gets rid of Milky Man's shield, and that is a simple Q press for Super Ploop to land that massive hammer down. Bazooka Puppies, they are kind of running out of time here. They have had quite a few scuffled pushes, but Zapri's Graviton Surge will likely be online now.
Ooh, High Noon and both rallies are out, and another good kill onto Milky Man. They are playing with this Reinhardt right now. Might as well not even have a shield. The CC they're investing into him is so great. The Reinhardt's much been a non-factor.
Yeah, no shielding to speak of here. Poor Milky Man. And the way that Copenhagen are playing around Hardest right now, absolutely enabling him. You can see the armor packs from Flippy always going on to McCree to keep him up. The whole team swirling around him as he is the nexus of this entire composition. Puppies, though, now they have 3 ultimates banked up. This may be their last shot.
The Graviton Surge does land. The Transcendence is there to follow. There is armor left over from the rally, and so no kills confirmed. Self-destruct Self-destruct is out. Hardest is going to get the first kill on to Sab, and now they're getting the rest of them. This is looking like a possible point A hold. There's 35 seconds left, so Bazooka Puppies, all they need to do is die or throw themselves off to reset.
Yeah, we may have to actually see a Zunata coming in here from Saab just to touch the point, but Hardest once again will have that high noon. Man, this guy has an ultimate every single time. He's just really into time, man. Wants you to know exactly what kind of meal we're having, because once again, that Transcend is not going to be helping against any kind of burst damage.
Oh, the high noon is there to counteract this. A sound barrier. Look at all those skulls. All you need to do is get rid of the shield. Earth Shatter is down, gonna knock down Hardest, but no kills so far. Bot is 30% away from the Transcendence. Might get it for this fight. Bazooka Puppies, though, are going to get the kills instead. They're looking good in the last minute, thanks to a good Earth Shatter. Bazooka Puppies are going to take this point.
A great Earth Shatter coming in from Milky Man, set up by that shield bash from Cranks. Finally, you know, the definition boop of Insanity is trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. This time around, Bazooka Puppies reacted to what Flames were bringing to the table, got that shield bash in. Hardest this time around was not going to be able to connect with any kills with that high noon, and that was the way forward for Bazooka Puppies. But Goats, going to be a good comp for point A, but this time around, Puppies swapping onto that patented Doomfist Sombra dive with Mete's Hammond, that Wrecking Ball. So going to make usage of all of those corridors, all of those flanking routes, as well as that high ground. As Copenhagen Flames, they themselves swapping hard onto their own Goats composition, not going to be able to react as Zapri gets to Manila. Boop, as a Doomfist main, how does that make you feel? What are you
Oh
feeling
my
right
god, I don't know if you guys heard, there was like a nice little chortle on the inside of my soul. 2 kills, 1 seismic slam. That is the dream right there. Gonna get the D-Mac with it as well. Zapri is a scary Doomfist. Look at this, just switched before that fight and at 93% on that ult charge.
Yeah, this is Bazooka Puppies look wholly comfortable with this composition, and Flames, I mean, they themselves got to find something new here. Zapri put under pressure, escaped with that Meteor Strike.
Zapri almost had a huge Meteor Strike, but the armor was there for the Copenhagen Flames. Flippy did have to use that rally. Bot at 0% had to use the Transcendence as well. Bazooka Puppies, though, are going to be the first one to go down. This is a 6v5 on point B right now. The payload has made it underneath the bridge, so they've been able to get some distance before they got this defense.
Get some distance, but they're also gonna get staggered as Mete unable to escape on that Hammond. This is actually a little bit unfortunate, as Bazooka Puppies, they once again have tons of ultimates. They just need the correct setup and time to use it. Mete would have been great to zone off that entire payload with a minefield, but with 30 seconds left, Bazooka Puppies have one more shot.
All right, Cranks has that EMP, but they don't have Zapri. You know, no mercies on the field, so no reses as well. Copenhagen Flames are going to go up another 2 kills. Our Bazooka Puppies going to repeat what they did on the last point. Come in here and get it at the last minute.
Very possible. Cranks, he needs to hit a massive EMP. Saab ready with that nano boost as well. Zapri actually swapped onto the Widow. Hey, I mean, last second, you don't have time to generate ultimates, so all in with those one-shot heroes, but it's going to be Cranks falling early.
Mete gets a good pile drive on to 2 squishies on the high ground. Drops the mines, going to have to use the shield. Copenhagen Flames needs this defense. This is a great place to stop a team. Bazooka Puppies have 2 more ultimates. The EMP is going to be the big one there. Saab does go down, and so does Flippy, so 2 supports from each side are down. Bazooka Puppies are winning the math game, but not anymore. It is tied. It is a 4v4 on the payload with no tank, with Milky Man gone. Bazooka Puppies, they don't have the bodies. Cranks goes ahead and drops the EMP, but Super Fluke had already used that Primal Rage, so it's going to be unable to get silenced. Cranks goes down, my friends. Copenhagen looking good. They have the numbers. Mete needs to stall like no other to bring Bazooka Puppies back, but that's not what's going to happen, as Copenhagen Flames are going to seal the deal on this defense.
Copenhagen, they put a stop to the payload right underneath the bridge before point B. A great place to hold after having just barely given up point A. I mean, for the Puppies, it was working so well until it didn't. Unfortunately, when you do have a lot of those disparate parts of the dive, you know, some of the heroes, some of the players can get a little bit lost in transition. You really need everybody to be on the same page. And Super Fluke, with that last Primal Rage in that fight, able to buy so much time, so much disruption, you know, kind of throwing that game plan in Bazooka Puppy's face right there. The EMP came down from Cranks, and Super Fluke was, you know, unable to jump, but he still had that massive HP pool. And at that point, it was all about about buying time, and Bazooka Puppies, unfortunately, they weren't able to focus down that Winston soon enough.
Yeah, Zapri played a good Doomfist. We talked about it. One fight, 92%. 2 kills on a seismic slam. But after that first kind of go-around, they had his number. He was much quieter.
Yeah, certainly. And so Puppies, for their own defense, if we check out a Mete, doing a ring around the rosy, will be pulling out a Sombra, but this time around it will be Cranks wielding that Mexican hacker. Zapri now on the Pharah, which is a hero that we do see sometimes here on the defense, but a little bit risky, of course. Bazooka Puppies will be keeping Mete on that Hammond as well. A little bit interesting here, you do often like to see a Diva just for a little bit more damage mitigation on the defensive side, as you don't really have any space to give. Keeping control of that point is going to be incredibly important right here, and my question is going to be, who's going to be standing there on that point when Flames aggress with their GOATS composition in all likelihood?
They don't have a lot of shielding as well. Milky Man's the only shield they have. Saab's going to be pretty naked out there, and it's going to have to play very, very well in order to make this comp work. Mete's going to keep on at that hand, and it, has had success, but a little bit less of it here on Eichenwald. I am excited to see Zapri on this Pharah, as Pharah's very good on defense for this first point. Hardest, though, already at 30, 27 energy. You get 40 per shield, so that's pretty good. Going to go ahead and drop some grenades, try to get that ult charge. 18% towards that grab. He's on his way.
Yeah, and Flames taking the high ground here, trying to keep themselves safe from Zapri in the air, but already this far at 45% to that barrage, but taken incredibly low. Oh, the Bercy needs to find him. Where is Cave? Oh, he does manage to stay alive, but the same can't be said for Milky Man.
Oh, he's so close to getting that barrage, and they might need it for this defense, as Milky Man is down. Zapri is taking very, very low. Cave is being very risky with that fair. Super Fluke, though, gonna get the kill on Saab. Was exposed. Both supports down for Bazooka Puppies. This defense might be one that is waiting to be depleted at this point, as Vod gets another kill for the Copenhagen Flames. He also has Coalescence, smartly keeping it to himself. Super Clues also has Earth Shatter for this next stage of Eichenwald.
Yeah, Bazooka Puppies getting a bit dismantled here. It's going to be a very quick point A take, and my question still rings true. Who's going to be standing on the point? You saw Bazooka Puppies kind of swirling around it, but unfortunately, with no bodies there to contest, Copenhagen were accruing point percentage even as Zapri was working up to that barrage, and it will be a hero switch for this player, going back to his favorite Doomfist here. As Mete is going to stay on this Hammond as he is close to this minefield, but Bazooka Puppies, they have to be careful to prioritize the objective here.
Oh, the pile drive is going to come up from the high ground, make Flippy go into the air, but great bubble to save Flippy's life. He's going to be able to get healed back up. Heiko very close to that self-destruct as well, as Mete is just going to go ahead and go bowling, but leaves the rest of his team behind, and that's why that we're seeing these kills come down. Coalescence is there as well. 2 kills for the Copenhagen Flames on this defense.
Yeah,
or attack.
Copenhagen making things look very easy here. Bazooka Puppies, they haven't really found any kills of their own just yet. A fairly heavy investment, both the EMP and the Primal Rage, just to try and stall by a little bit more time. But Copenhagen, they show no signs of stopping, as there will be a Graviton Surge out for Cave, or Hardest.
Oh, the mines are going to get Lobo thanks to the pile drive as well. Love seeing that. Bazooka Puppies finally look like they have a good defense with 4 minutes left. They have to have like 4 of these in order to get the win on this map. This is a great start.
Certainly a good start right here. Zapri, oh no, not able to escape, and that's actually going to be an extremely painful loss for Bazooka Puppies here. Zapri not only had an ultimate on hand, his Meteor Strike, but there's no mercy on the field any longer, so no free do-overs. It's going to be on Milky Man to buy a little bit more time here, but he is quickly taken low, forced back.
The yellow box of victory is so close for the Copenhagen Flames to tie this up 1-1 before halftime. Mete close to another ultimate at 75%. Totally get it before the end of this fight. Bazooka Puppies are getting the Copenhagen Flames right now. Zapri was able to get a kill before he went down, so this is a 5v4 on the point right now. Bazooka Puppies need this defense with 3 minutes left. They're so close to losing this map. Copenhagen Flames are all going to be back. Hardest gonna be pretty close to that Dede based on how he's been playing, but with Milky Man's kill onto Lil Bo, the support's not going to be there for Copenhagen.
Yeah, Bazooka Puppies now prioritizing that backline here. Hardest put under a lot of pressure, but he manages to escape 2 HP and a dream despite Milky Man's best efforts right there. But Bazooka Puppies, they are starting to stabilize here. They're going to be able to use Crank's EMP to buy themselves more time. Somebody get on the thing!
Yeah, the yellow box of victory so close once again. Rally is there for Copenhagen. Milky Man taken below half HP, but the support is there as well. They didn't need to win in those previous fights. They're waiting for the right opportunity. The hack was there as well. Hardest goes down. The mines are going to get some kills as well. And in the last minute, look, the payload's pretty much fully in that box, but somehow they're able to defend.
Whew, Bazooka Puppies hold on once again. Copenhagen, though, coming back in. Hardest did have that high noon shutdown. That's definitely going to be a feels bad, but there are 2 tank ultimates online. Heiko's Diva's self-destruct could actually be enormous here as Bazooka Puppies, once again, they don't have any static shieldings. Everybody's going to have to scram in order to get out of the way.
Oh, and the fight is going to be here on the high ground. Transcendence is there for the Copenhagen Flames, and Bot also has a little bit of armor, so he's going to be a little bit more durable throughout the rest of this fight. Super Fluke went ahead and used the Primal Rage to try and knock people off of the payload. Huge self-destruct on Mete, who's been so annoying throughout this series. So far, sound barriers there for Copenhagen, and so is the victory. And we are tied 1-1 in this Trials game. We have a series on our hands, my friends.
Oh, it is sure spice right here. Flames coming back with a vengeance on Eichenwald. A little bit more difficult than maybe they would have really liked. But, I mean, in the end, Hardest just... that McCree paying huge dividends. There really wasn't a huge answer to that McCree. It was just, all right, well, between the Doomfist, the Hammond, and the Sombra, we'll just get more kills on other people.
Yeah, Copenhagen just had so much time to grab that second point. And what I liked was the patience there. You know, I did say, oh, they're not committing, but not committing this time was an advantage.
Yeah, exactly. As you always say, Boop, and is always true with Overwatch, it's not about winning every fight, but just the right fights. And you can see the huge advantage that playing that tanky composition afforded the Flames. They were able to stay on the point, even if they weren't getting any kind of kills. The fact that their bodies were touching the payload and moving it forward, accruing that distance, and nobody else from the defense was able to stay there long enough in the face of, you know, even the Reinhardt hammer damage was, you know, very telling.
Well, I know people who like to tell things, and those people all are on the desk. We're going to go ahead and throw it to Lobo and the desk for halftime.
Thank you very much, Boop NATO. Great first half as always from the great caster duo. Copenhagen Flames tied with Bazooka Puppies here after winning Eichenwald 1-1. I have Kenobi Vowels here with me. Guys, first 2 maps, a little bit different than what we saw in our game 1. In this game 2, we had a fairly close game 1, or map 1, I should say. Map 2 was Copenhagen pretty much dominating, except they had a little bit of trouble pushing that payload. That last little bit they had to go. Let's start with Eichenwald. What went so well for Copenhagen here?
Copenhagen are taking a page out of the Fusion University playbook, which I really like to see. They're running the Winston, the Wrecking Ball, the Doomfist, the Sombra. It's not a fun composition to play against at all, but a lot of these teams that rely so hard on the tank-heavy compositions have a really hard time adjusting, and we saw that come through on Nepal, where they just absolutely dominated. Moving on to Eichenwald, I think we didn't see so many compositional changes from Copenhagen Flames so much as just a playstyle change, a bit more passive, a bit more around Hardest's McCree, which is legendary. We all know how good he is at McCree, and yeah, just making some adjustments, staying out the way of some of the heavy crowd control, being able to shut down Zapre and Cranks, who still had great moments, but yeah, it's really leaning on the way Hardest was being able to pop off on McCree. It really set up Copenhagen Flames.
To expand on that McCree too, Kenobi, I mean, you were exclamating about it just because he was doing so well on it. What enabled him to have such a good game, especially on Eichenwald?
I think it's a combination of him and the supports and just the tanks around him. You know, if they understand that, you know, if the idea here for Bazooka Puppies, or for Copenhagen rather, is like, all right, we have Hardest here, who's like one of the best McCrees in Europe. And if we just pocket him and make sure that, you know, even though there is so many dive potential targets, like we saw Cranks and I think it was Zapri playing Doomfist and Sombra, and while it was working a lot of the time on control, once we got to Eichenwald, they were doing a very good job, Copenhagen Flames, of making sure that they were keeping Hardest alive, and making sure that even if he was flanking, he wasn't always by himself. He always had someone at least in range of once the dive came in to help him out. Maybe if it was like, you know, have that type of CC and have that peel for him to make sure that he's able to pop off. So they're kind of pocketing hardest, I think, is something that Copenhagen Flames is doing a really good job at, and Bazooka Puppies just hasn't come up with an answer yet. They've been trying to, again, with the Sombra and the Doomfist. It just hasn't worked out to the best of their abilities, and maybe they need to be a little more cleaner with their dives. I saw a little bit disjointed sometimes between where the Sombra was going and where the Doomfist is going, where the tanks were. So if they maybe just sand out those rough edges, for the side of Bazooka Puppies, they can definitely get onto hardest and force him to play maybe something else, or force him to play not as aggro as he was, because he was going, you know, he was playing pretty aggressive, just going up onto the high ground, being wherever he wanted, just because there wasn't really anything to do with him.
So is that the answer then, Vowels, for them against Copenhagen for Bazooka Puppies, that to really try and shut down that McCree? Because we're going to be going to map types where McCree can be seen. Yeah, I feel like maybe to almost treat it as a rock, paper, scissors situation. Hardest on McCree has been doing a really good job of shutting down your heavy Doomfist Sombra dive composition. So have a complete change of pace, move over to the tank heavy 3-3, maybe swap in a Sombra or something, and from that you can just run over these McCree comps, and I feel like that might be the best way to shut down hardest. Yep. And it looks like we're going to be going into our next map here in just a moment. So it's tied right now. Copenhagen Flames 1, Bazooka Puppies 1. We're going to throw it back to Ham and Boop as they get ready for the second half here.
We're back, guys. We are back, and we're going to be back for this awesome game that is tied 1-1 between Bazooka Puppies and the Copenhagen Flames, now that I've gotten the pronunciation correct.
Oh my gosh. Yes, but so this is a 4-map series, can go to fifth map in the case of a tiebreaker. So, you know, it's really anybody's game at this point. You see that Puppies really have their own preferred composition. They really like that Doomfist. Zapri, of course, is amazing with those one-shot kills. That Doomfist Sombra is very strong, but only, as Val said, if the tanks, if the dive is coordinated. There has been a little bit of a miscommunication occasionally. You know, Mete as well on that Hammond overstaying his welcome just slightly, you know, getting that mat yanked out from underneath his feet. And while the Flames really like their Goats McCree composition. So moving into our next map, our third map, which is going to be Volskaya. This is Assault. So each one of these engagements, you know, can be those clean setups, those team fights. You're not worrying about getting that payload distance quite as much. So, you know, maybe this is a chance for Bazooka Puppies to flex that dive once again, as you know, can dance around that objective a little bit more.
So just so the viewers at home know, we have switched colors. So Bazooka Puppies are now on the blue side, and Copenhagen are going to be the ones attacking first. Something that Desk also mentioned was that Hardest is one of the best McCrees in Europe, and we saw why throughout those first 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, a high noon every fight, man. That's it. That is that is the dream, especially me. I can't hit anything on McCree.
I can't even hit the environment. Anyway, going back to the game, Bazooka Puppies, though, you know, they've had a good time on their offensive, but their defensive status has been a little bit weaker.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're running that defensive dive, it does need to be extremely coordinated, as there's not going to be as much point presence as if you're running a death ball, of course. Flames pulling out, this time around is going to be Super Fluke on the Winston. Hardest staying on that McCree, and Flippy sticking with that Brigida as well. There may be some swaps here in response to Bazooka Puppies' dual sniper defense here. This is, you know, a little bit of something that we saw in Contenders last season, at least in that South American region. Interesting, Bazooka Puppies choosing to pull it out now.
Well, what I'm really excited about is Flippy is an amazing Widow. So if this Genji doesn't work out, I wonder if they're going to try to go sniper versus sniper there. Zapri already hitting some good body shots. Not the headshots you need, but he's going to get those wall hacks very, very soon. Lil Bo taken very low. So is Bob. The supports in the backline of Copenhagen getting taken down. Zapri finally gets that shot he needs, which is going to make Bazooka Puppies' defense that much more stronger. Copenhagen resets.
Yeah, ooh, and add on to that, Heiko's D-Mech right here going to force even more time off the bank for the Flames. Bazooka Puppies sitting pretty with an ultimate already in hand with Cranks. His Dragon Strike can definitely use that to zone things away, as there won't be a Zarya there for that Dragaton Galactic Dragons combo. But, you know, these snipers very capable on their own right here. Mete just playing keep away with that Diva.
Ooh, the Winston is going to try to aggress onto the backline, and Cranks is going to drop that Dragon Strike already. He's going to split the team in half. Pretty much looks like a Dragon Strike sandwich right there. Bazooka Puppies, after he's going to get very close to those wall hacks, and he's going to really want those, as he's going to be able to see everyone walk in. But Cranks is going to see Super Fluke go down thanks to his Storm Bows.
You see him, you don't in the blink of an eye. Copenhagen Flames right now, they're playing up, trying to get up to this Dragon Blade for Flippy, add in Bod's Nano Boost, and that could be the winning combination for Flames to get this point A. But so far, they're, biding their time, playing a very patient game, but at the same time, Bazooka Puppies, that's given them the chance to get up to their own ultimates. Zafri in with the wall hacks now, Nano Boost on the Winston.
Yeah, Super Fluke is looking pretty right now. Heiko, though, going to get the first kill. And I think what this Nano does is it gives them confidence to aggress upon the Bazooka Puppies. And so now, with the Rez, they haven't had to deal with this all game. Cranks is back, and Bazooka Puppies are back in the attack right now, and they're getting the kills. Cranks has been popping off on this Hanzo.
Yeah, he's been doing amazingly here, not just with his mechanical skill, but the positioning as well. Playing those off angles, setting up crossfires between himself and Zapri. Copenhagen Flames, they've been aggressing each time, trying to buy that space, but once they get there, the question is, who are you going to jump on top of? You try and get rid of that Widowmaker. They actually took Cranks down so early on, but it didn't matter. The resurrection from Cave was there. Zapri, though, does go down, but the Rez, once again, brings the Bazooka Puppies back up to the full 6.
Oh, and Hardest goes down without using the EMP. Flippy is going to go down as well with the Dragon Blade. I think they're going to decide to go ahead and reset. They have 1 minute. They're going to put all their eggs in one basket for this next push.
Hey, I mean, EMP into Dragon Blade, it is a classic because it is so effective. However, Copenhagen, they've tried it time and time again. They're down to their last fight here. All of these ultimates need to hit.
And so they have 5 of them. No Nano to go with Flippy's Dragon Blade, though, so he's going to be a little bit weaker, but they have what they need to take this point. Bazooka Puppies are going to need a huge defense here to make this work. Flippy almost gets taken down. Hardest, though, is going to be Hardest was almost taken down. Hardest is going to be very, very, very low. EMP was brought out, and Flippy's going to go down once again with that Dragon Blade, so they're not going to have that damage. He's going to have to rush back to this point, but it doesn't seem to matter as the Primal Raging Winston is going to get 2 kills and open the point up for the Copenhagen Flames. Bod now has that Nano to heal Super Fluke if he needs it, and he's going to go ahead and save it for it now as Hardest is going to get another kill. They have to finish this point off as they're giving Bazooka Puppies an opportunity to come back on this point, specifically with Mete being able to get back in that mech. Great nade onto that Brigitte before she goes down. Bazooka Puppies, looking pretty rough on this defense.
Yeah, Bazooka Puppies, they will give things up in overtime, go wait for that point B defense, but Flames themselves, one after another, struggling to get that point. Flippy ended up needing to invest that Nano Blade just to clean, or that Dragon Blade just to clean up the last Diva on the point, but no matter, he was going to swap. I was going to swap anyways, guys. Gets onto that Brigitte once again to enable Hardest McCree, most likely. Heiko, though, will keep that self-destruct. Bazooka Puppies themselves hanging on to just that Primal Rage.
Hardest walking in here. Scary, scary McCree. You might as well assume he's going to have a high noon in the next 15 seconds because that's what's been going on for the rest of the game. Cranks is going to stick on to that Hanzo, which has been very, very effective. Good sleep dart onto the Winston. Cranks wakes him up right away, though, as he's in the middle of shooting him. Self-destruct is out for the Copenhagen Flames. Super Fluke is going to be the first one to go down in this first push into point B. Great self-destruct. Get a cave, but the numbers don't lie. Bazooka Puppies now have the advantage, and as the defensive team in Assault, they will win.
Bazooka Puppies, a great Primal Rage from Milky Man, a little bit risky right there. Guessing that his counter dive was going to be a little bit more effective than that coming in from Flames, but Bazooka Puppies do manage to hold off of some great play from Cranks and Zapri, who is now on his own Brigitte. You really like to see that Brigitte be Brigitte. At least you have something to answer Flippy when he comes back in. But Copenhagen, they're coming in with multiple support ultimates, so they're going to be able to drag out these fights, maybe overcome this spawn disadvantage.
Yeah, Flippy and Zapri entered this fight with the exact same ult charge. Bot is going to go ahead and drop that Transcendence. Nano is on a Winston. High Noon gets Cave, and right now a D-Mech versus a Lucio, but no, Copenhagen's going to come out ahead. Shield dash kill onto Milky Man. Hardest is putting in the damage. He's not the one showing up in the kill feed, but he is the one doing that damage. Copenhagen is in control of this fight, particularly when the Brigitte is not there with that inspired healing. Cranks goes down as well. Copenhagen has the numbers advantage. It is a 6v4 on the point, but the Assault spawns are going to come into play here. Bazooka Puppies are in stall mode right now.
They're trying desperately right now. Cranks onto his own Doomfist just to buy a little bit more time. Cave is so incredibly close to the sound barrier. If he could just get there, but there's no way. Hardest with that zoning high noon finds Zapri on that Tracer and seals the deal for Copenhagen to take both points of Volskaya.
That was the second high noon of the fight, my friends. He started it off with one and then ended the round with one as well. A minute 53 on the time bank. 2 points here on Volskaya. It is now the Bazooka Puppies' turn to try to get two as well.
The ball is in the Puppies' court, and hey, I mean, if you've ever seen Air Bud, you know that dogs are actually more than capable of playing sport ball. But that is going to be, you know, a little bit difficult. It's so disheartening when you look so close to holding on point A and you get rolled with that snowball on point B and you give up both points on the map. However, we know that Puppies have a very good offense. It's with the defense where they struggle a little bit. So that could be, you know, auspicious for their own attacking round. Flames themselves, they're maybe pulling out a Sombra could be quite good. Deny that heal pack, especially if they expect Cranks to stay on this Genji as he is showing right now. But Flames, they played that game quite well. Hardest going off of that McCree is kind of, you know, a question for me as in Flames' point A attack, they were not finding a ton of value from their Sombra.
Well, but they might find a ton of value from Flippy on that Widowmaker. He made a name for himself on the character. Flippy has played a lot of Sombra as well in the past, so I'm excited to see this Widowmaker though.
Oh no, Widow is always one of those heroes, and nobody can help that like visceral reaction when she just lands those beautiful headshots, and that's certainly what Flames are going to be hoping for on their defensive round. Between Hardest and Zapri though, if Puppies do roll out with the dive that they're showing right now, it's going to be a pack hack competition right here. Hardest right now just scoping out, seeing what the competition is bringing.
One thing that this Infinite Stealth does give you, again, is information. She's going to be able to take everyone who comes out of spawn, and if she's able to count all 5 people, you can assume that there's a Sombra on the other side as well. They don't know where Hardest is. They probably can, you know, their Sombra senses are tingling right now. Bazooka Puppies, though, are going to find Hardest, and he's going to have to translocate back. He's going to go ahead and hack that Mega. Will not have to hack for a fight for another 5 seconds or so. He's going to have to wait for that, as the rest of Bazooka Puppies are actually very vulnerable to that hack ham.
Definitely vulnerable, especially that back line. Cranks on this Genji going to be looking for his own blade. Hopefully a little bit faster than just an overtime push, but oh, Flippy caught between a Winston and a Sombra. Place goes down very early on, but Flames do trade back.
Well, they had a plan. They went ahead and pincered the Widowmaker, but then it left, you know, less people on the field versus the 5 for Bazooka Puppies. They might have focused a little bit too hard on getting that Flippy kill, but that's exactly what Flippy gives your team, is that kind of intimidation factor. Being known for that character, you know you're going to go after them first. And looking at the ultimate economy, Saab is the closest with that Nano.
Saab is the closest, might help Cranks get up to that Dragon Blade, but you're absolutely right. Flippy is a threat, and you cannot ignore this Widowmaker, so he's drawing a lot of resources here, so Flames are likely going to be knowing exactly where Bazooka Puppies will be engaging.
And we've got some tank battling right now. D.Va is hacked, so we might see that D-Mech here very, very soon. Copenhagen is going to get 3 kills to start this off, so this is a 6v3 on the point with 2 minutes and 35 seconds left on the clock, and this is looking like a point A cap for them.
Yeah, there's 4 ultimates in the bank for Flames right here. So Puppies, they're going to have to grind through a considerable more amount of ultimates just to start getting some percentage, most likely. But Zapri in the bag, he can definitely disable this Widowmaker. Sombras, that she is one of those heroes you can send after those snipers, disrupt them, force them to reposition, use that grapple hook. Cranks will have this blade for the next fight. Saab ready with that Nano as well, but of course Hardest can shut down all of that with a single EMP, turn the lights out, and once again help Flames hold.
Copenhagen has vision. Superfluke also has that primal. The Nano Blade is out. Great anti-nade onto Cranks, who is taken very low. He's going to actually have to escape with his life and look for some support. Anna misses the first shot, is going to get the other one, but look at this. The opposed Copenhagen's Anna is vulnerable, but Flippy is going to get the kill, followed up with that headshot kill onto Saab as well. Copenhagen on this defense looking in complete control.
Definitely complete control, and it feels like these comms must be extremely clear as well. Everybody on the Flames team has brought Q-tips. As you saw right there, Cranks, he does get hacked, and so he's forced to back up, looks for that easy dash kill onto Bod, but surprise, everybody was holed up there, had their on his back, and immediately Cranks finds himself in a very unfortunate 1v3 situation. However, Zappy now will have his EMP. He can absolutely shut down Lil Bao, and indeed, he's the first to fall.
Yep, Zenyatta's left with 50 HP after that EMP, and now the rest of Bazooka Puppies are going to follow it up. That's the strength of EMP, can turn the fight or any moment in the game into your hands. You have that one chance with that mass silence to get those kills, and Bazooka Puppies takes it.
Bazooka Puppies, they will find that point A. They will need to at least complete Volskaya to continue into extra innings here. One sound barrier and a Diva self-destruct are what they have online currently against Copenhagen's Primal Rage and Transcendence from Lil Bao, who will shortly get it, no doubt. Crank's now swapping on to his own Brigitte. Bazooka Puppy's trying a little bit of that Copenhagen flavor here with Zapri's McCree.
Copenhagen flavor. I wonder what that tastes like, my friend. Bazooka Puppies
Tastes like high noon.
Exactly. They're looking at a couple, maybe even 3 more ultimates before the end of this next fight. Bazooka Puppies are going to try to come in and roll in with that self-destruct and sound barrier. Sound barrier has not been popped yet, but the Transcendence has for the Copenhagen Flames. Bazooka Puppies looking for the right time, maybe on their next attack, to use that sound barriers. They decide to reset after that trance.
Yeah, but look at this. Zachary will already have a high noon for this next engagement. That's going to be a huge ultimate against the Flames, as not only did they use their Transcendence the last fight, but Trance doesn't even help against that burst damage. It's going to be all on Heiko to zone that McCree out with a defense matrix.
And Flippy on another sniper this time on that Hanzo, getting the headshot and causes another reset on this attack. They have to come in as a full 6-man squad to give themselves an opportunity for this second point. Bazooka Puppy's having a hard time maintaining that 6 number, though.
Yeah, cohesion does seem to be a difficulty for this dive so far, but they will have plenty of tools once again. A well-stocked ultimate pantry. However, Flames with hardest EMP, there's a lot of potential here. Zapri walking forward slowly, menacingly.
Nothing to it on that high noon. Hardest though going to get the kill after the EMP on to Saab. That's exactly what you want to see out of your Sombra players. It's the 5v5. Bazooka Puppies has a shot, going ahead and using that sound barrier to keep the rest of his team alive. Saab's coming back here very, very quickly after coming from a spawn. The defensive spawns are going to be the advantage, though. Zapri trying to get, missed the headshot there. Got to get another melee in, and that's exactly what we're going to see from Zapri. Bazooka Puppies have another opening. The time to kill, though, has to be very fast. Primal Rage gets popped by Super Flute, who is kept below half health, actually taken very, very low. No support in sight for him. He has to get the health pack in instead. Zapri has another high noon if he chooses to use it. Winston is going to be very, very vulnerable. Drops the bubble right in front of him to keep the rest of his team alive, but it doesn't matter because the rest of his team is dead and coming from spawn. Bazooka Puppies also has that chance if they want to stay in this fight, but it's looking pretty good for them so far as they do wrap it up 2-2 here on Volskaya.
Oh man, the power of the McCree, man. Zapri just putting in so much damage. Let's rewind to the beginning of that very last fight. You saw that self-destruct coming out from Flames, trying to zone away that choke point. Everybody from Bazooka Puppies huddled up into that left side mini room, including Zapri's McCree. And so, you know, the Flames are like, hey, we're going to go in there and get this McCree. He's totally ripe for the picking. But surprise, his entire team has his back there, and you don't want to be in a small room with McCree. You're just doing his job for him. It's like shooting fish in a barrel, and Zapri bursts out with that high noon, and it's you know, it's just such a powerful ultimate, not just for zoning when you need to get that crucial point percentage, but it's perfect for bursting down your more tanky heroes, your Divas, your Winstons. And so Flames, you know, kind of getting a taste of their own medicine.
Yeah, when you get a McCree, you enable that McCree correctly, and he's feeling it, right? Because I think you got to kind of feel a character like McCree,
Exactly.
right? It's got to be in your blood, in your bones. You just can't miss sometimes. When you're able to have a McCree like that on your team, it opens up an avenue of new strategies you can take into these games.
You get to put that burst damage into the equation for every single one of your fights. So Bazooka Puppies, they will be defending in this round 3, once again pulling out that dual sniper, and why not? Cranks and Zapri were ratcheting up that ultimate generation, being extremely effective. Copenhagen Flames, they're actually going to be pulling out their own dual sniper. Hey, great minds.
Exactly, and what I like about this is that there's no Zarya, so we're not going to see that Dragon Strike Graviton combo. The two snipers are just going to have to do their job. Flippy trying to get on to those sight lines. Craig's going to be the first one to get the kill on his counterpart, but they do have the Mercy on their side, so they're going to go ahead and use that res. That's 25 seconds until another res is going to be available. Bazooka Puppies, you know, they need to get these kills because they also now have confirmed kills coming their way as the res has been used from Copenhagen, and they're going to go ahead and take this fight and move it back to the point. Hardest is going to move right back to spawn. Crank's right back to spawn, and now we have a 6v4 for Copenhagen Flames on at this point. A great headshot onto Zapri, his counterpart, and Mercy is not going to be able to res everybody. This is going to be a point A take by the Copenhagen Flames.
Yeah, ooh, surgical precision right there, and in the blink of an eye, you know, one kill snowballs into more right there. You saw Cave actually playing a very risky Mercy, very aggressive, trying to get the resurrection onto Cranks, got out of position, and that was kind of when Bazooka Puppy's defense fell apart. Their Mercy was zoned away from the rest of it, not able to apply any of that healing. So it will be a swap. Sob sticking on this. Ana has the nano boost at the ready, but Cave's gonna go on that Lucio. Zapri on the Tracer.
Ooh, Hardest is gonna drop the Dragon Strike, get 2 kills right away. This is a 6v4 on a point B. Zapri actually on the Tracer right now. The Winston was trying to focus them down. Vod's gonna use the Transcendence to escort the rest of his team on to the point. The vision is there as well, so they know where they're coming from in spawn. The Lucio's gonna need to stall this out just a little bit longer. Winston's gonna try to aggress upon Hardest and the backline and use that Primal Rage too. Crank taken very, very low. No ultimates on either side. Lobo is in the air with that Valkyrie. Super Cloak with the Primal Rage is going to take down Cranks. This is now an even fight on the payload. Self-destruct not getting anything. The Valkyrie is about to run out. The res is there for Hardest. So the numbers now are for the Copenhagen Flames. 6v5. The D-Mech is there, but Flippy getting the D-Mech and the headshot kill to follow it up. Copenhagen hasn't had an opportunity like this since the last round. Another 2 Dragon Strike kills. Hardest popping off here on a point B. They are going to take this second point with, I believe, 1 second left on the clock.
Copenhagen Flames coming in hard. I don't need no ultimate combos. All I need is mouse one. Oh man, that Hanzo play though, incredible. And as we saw, they're just the entire team playing so well together, really prioritizing who they wanted to zone off of the point. Super Fluke getting on Sob's case right there, drops the bubble right over the Ana. There's no way that poor Grandma can apply any kind of healing onto the point to keep any of the defenders alive right there. Dragon Strike from Hardest seals the deal. Perfect positioning from this Hanzo. And Bazooka Puppies, you know, potentially getting a little bit too comfortable right there. They seem completely caught off guard.
Well, yeah, they had 2 Dragon Strikes to deal with in that fight, and they got 2 kills right away with those Dragon Strikes. And the self-destruct right before the second one caused that discord in the team where it's like, oh no, where is that coming from? Well, it's slicing right through your body, and you're taking damage from it.
Yes. Oh no, my limbs are falling off. That's where
What's
it's coming
happening?
from.
Why am I feeling pain?
It is kind of that 1-2 punch. Flames, one of the great things about running that long distance damage, be it a Widow, be it a Hanzo, is you have your tanks to take that space on the objective itself. You know, you really you can't just be ignoring them, especially when Super Fluke is on your Ana, but then you also have to deal with that long distance damage. These heroes, these snipers are so far away from the point. The defense needs to expend all kinds of resources to get on them, keep them uncomfortable. But Bazooka Puppies, of course, they themselves could bite back with their own aggressive dive. It's going to be Cranks on the Genji, Zapri on the Sombra once again.
Let's see this Cranks Genji. I'm really excited to see it myself. His projectile play has been very good. Sub taken very low. Gonna have to use Cave and I think amp it up to grab some of that health. As she decides to just keep it down there, she's gonna get it with that right click and a health pack. That's fine. Slippy gonna nail a headshot onto Winston. Unfortunately, he's a tank. That's not gonna be enough, but you know, the ult charge will be important as Milky Man is gonna try to get onto the back line, gonna hop right back down because he sees a couple more easier access targets within the building right now where the mega health pack is. And look at this, Bazooka Puppies get to be aggressive right now as the kills do come in. We were excited about Cranks Genji, and you're seeing exactly why with the triple kill for him.
Oh yeah, those spicy, clean dash throughs and Cranks going to be close to 70% to that blade. Hey, Bazooka Puppies, the snowball is real. It's a tundra, it's a winter environment, so why not? Bazooka Puppies will already have Sob's Coalescence rolling into point B. Flames themselves swapping quickly onto their Brigitte McCree, tried and true, but the question is how much value will Hardest find here? Zapri already has that position on that high ground, putting in that tickle damage, keeping everybody on flames uncomfortable.
Crank's very close to that Dragon Blade. Milky Man very close to that Primal Rage as well. Copenhagen not really close to anything other than the Self-Destruct and the Nano. If Lobo plays his mind off, he might be able to get the Transcendence if he needs it. But with 1 minute and 10 seconds left, they need this win to go up on the top. Gonna go Swift Strike into the air, Swift Strike right back down. The Coalescence is there to keep Cranks alive. He has to convert on some kills, and yes, he does. He gets takeout after he gets the DMAC as well. Bazooka Puppiez looking good. He's got 4 kills. The Transcendence was there for the end of the fight. He is the lone Zenyatta on the point. All they need to do is clean him up, and they will get this second point. There is no time for Copenhagen to respawn, and that is it, my friends. We are going to more innings.
Cranks right there with that Dragon Blade. I mean, potentially you could say dashed into that small back room, saw the, 1v3, thought better of it, but I'm going to give him the credit right there. He was baiting all the defenders to get back so they could all be EMP'd. Even easier pickings for his Genji self. As you saw, that was exactly what happened. And, while he wasn't able to get those supports first thing right off the bat, at that point, with no more defenders, no D.Va, no tanks around them to keep him alive, it's, a simple thing for the rest of Bazooka Puppies to pick off that McCree, pick off that Ana and Zen by themselves. And so Bazooka Puppies, given what they had, that was an excellent play right there. And they will have a minute 44, nearly double Flames time for our third round.
But can we talk about for a second how important that second was to finish with a little bit of time in the time bank? They're going to get an opportunity to attack instead of just defend and try to go for the draw because they had 1 second left.
1 second, man.
Right? Every second counts in the game of Overwatch, and we are seeing exactly why. We are 4-4 in a tied game right now. The winner of this is going to go up 2-1 and go into the 4th match with match point. We are 10 seconds away from the offensive team, which will be the Copenhagen Flames from leaving the spawn ham. What are you seeing team comp-wise?
Got Hardest on that Hanzo, Flippy on the Widowmaker. Once again, it just has played huge dividends. And just in general, anytime you don't have a lot of time bank left, those one-shot heroes are really going to help you out. As 30% in 1 mouse click, that is that's good.
Yeah, I would consider that good. But it looks like they're going back to spawn. They maybe saw some things they wanted to adjust to. Copenhagen rocking that double sniper, but not for long, as we do see some shifts going in. And what are we seeing here, Ham?
Yeah, I mean, you have that double stun, the flashbang, and the shield bash from Hardest and Flippy in response to Zapri and Crank. So this is always going to be good for any of those heroes that Puppies are showing, but Flames have whittled themselves down to less than 30 seconds. This is their last chance.
This is their last chance. They got to get these ult charges there. Zapri already almost halfway there for the pulse bomb. Crank is going to go down thanks to a great whip shot from Flippy. They have the numbers and they have an opportunity. They want at least a tick so they can give themselves a chance to win at this map. The fight is on the point right now. Zapri's going to go ahead and flank onto the left side and get even closer to that pulse bomb. It could be huge. Coalescence for Bazooka Puppies is out right now, but Flippy getting another kill onto Milky Man. There is no Winston on the field for them, but the pulse bomb was stuck onto Hardest, but that might not be enough as Copenhagen is getting the rest of the kills they need. The focus was there for them. They knew the job and they finished it, and they will get 5 points.
An incredible reaction from Flames right there, counter picking to what they saw coming out from Puppies, because if they had played it passive, still stuck with that sniper, who knows, Cranks may have a blade at this point, but instead they chose to put Flippy on that Brigitte. He's going to have the rally Hardest ready with that High Noon as well. It is do or die for Puppies. This sound barrier from Cave has to be money.
Yeah, we might see Self-Destruct and High Noon dropped at the same time. That's exactly what we're going to see, as it does cause chaos into the other team. 2 kills down for Copenhagen. There is the third. It is a 6v3 on the point right now. They could get both points. Cave does have that sound barrier, though. Could provide more HP for the rest of his team. Actually gets canceled by the shield bash, I believe. No shields for you. The Copenhagen's going to get 6 points from them.
Copenhagen Flames burning bright with 1 minute. They finish out the entirety of Volskaya once again. We are going in. Could not be more close, Boop. I mean, 2 CP, Assault 8 CP, man. This has been insane so far. I've just been so impressed by Flippy's environmental heads-up awareness. Always seems to be able to get onto the correct heroes. Brigitte is a very cooldown dependent hero, and to be able to get so much value out of your shield bashes, I mean, stunning Rhines to set up big earth shatters, stunning the sound barrier right out of Lucio's. I mean, that is no mean feat.
No mean feat at all. The one thing too is it's like you said, it's a heads up play, right? And knowing that character, and that's just practice. That's good comms. That's just playing with your team. You don't get that by playing by yourself.
No, certainly not. And Flames right now showing the strength of that teamwork. Puppies, they have their own chance here. Again, they have nearly twice the time bank of Flames, so of course it's quality, not just quantity. They have to also be able to finish out Volskaya, and that's going to be quite difficult. Cranks with this Genji, though, he's done it before in the past. He can certainly carry his team once again to victory.
He's going to need to not get taken out early on this first fight. However,
don't get stunned, forehead.
They do have more time, though. They could possibly get 2, maybe even 3 attacks here, depending on how they want to do this. Is this first rush going to be for ultimates, or are they going to try to look for a pick and go in there? Cranks is going back to spawn. I like that he's being patient, potentially changing his character.
Potentially, it's actually going to be Saab swapping onto the Zenyatta instead of the Moira. Cranks picking up that Brigitte. Zapri going onto the McCree. So indeed, birds of a feather between these two teams right now, but very intelligent. You're not going to win that Sombra game against Hardest, who is already 60% up to that EMP.
Yep, but they did use about 30 seconds to decide on their team comp. They are down to 1 minute. It's possibly 2 fights, and they're looking to get those ult charges up. Oh man, Milky Man was actually taken very, very low there. Hardest close to that EMP. That is a very, very fast EMP if he does get it, and it could win them the rest of this round. Bazooka Puppies biding their time. They're deciding, hey, we're gonna have one chance at this. We gotta be a team. What better way to clean up that communication by saying that the EMP is in the backline, and Sombra's gonna go down immediately, thanks to just how good Sombra is against Zenyatta, and Copenhagen's playing good against Bazooka Puppies here on Volskaya. With 30 seconds left, though, they did give them an opportunity to come back.
That was a clean fight, such a clean fight, in fact, that Puppy's gonna have one more chance. Cave close to that sound barrier. He is neck and neck with Lil Bo and Bowed right now in terms of those support ultimates, so that's going to be a huge boon for Puppies. Zapri, though, will be the difference maker. Hardest, he's already expended his ultimate. Zapri still working up to his own.
Wow, this could not be more amazing right now. Bazooka Puppies have one last chance. They do have Transcendence, which is exactly what you want in this situation. Mete taken low, but is going to be healed up by that Transcendence, and that self-destruct is a triple kill by Heiko, and that is the type of clutch play you need. Heiko is a playmaker, my friends. Copenhagen is going to hold after a beautiful self-destruct, Ham.
What a way to win. Holy cow right now. Oh, Heiko lights up my world with those self-destructs. The way that you toss that bomb makes me turn and blush. And then you remake like that. You don't even stop. You just know. Uh-oh. You know you're a diva pro. Holy cow. What a beautiful placement. We have seen so many great, you've seen so many great diva players, but this is the first time that it has honestly been a shocker, a stunning way to finish out the map, because Boop, like we say, you know, it's not just about winning, it's about sending a message.
Exactly, and getting a triple self-destruct kill is actually going to get in your head, too. You know, to be the vulnerable party in it, that is heartbreaking when you're probably like, all right, let's go, guys. We're doing
the trance. We got, you know, everybody's grouped up. We're going to have a beautiful dive. And then, nope. Because, you know, Diva Bombs, there's just one of those things. It's like a Lucio Boop. There is no, if you're not positioned correctly, there is no counterplay.
So now we are going into the last game of the set. Potentially, if Copenhagen wins this 3-1, they will win the whole thing. But if they don't and it's tied 2-2, we will be going to a 5th map.
Yeah, 5th map is always possible. I mean, these puppies are not just all bark. They're definitely biting as well. But the question has been, you know, consistency for me, Boop. It seems like when the puppies are on a roll, there's nothing that can stop them. Their ultimate comboing is beautiful. Their McCrees landing all of their headshots. However, when, you know, it really push comes to shove, sometimes that's when we start to see that communication break down. Maybe, you know, the ultimates aren't being used quite as effectively. Maybe the focus fire isn't as pinpoint as you'd like to see.
And so going into this last round, Ham, Copenhagen on the brink of victory. Bazooka Puppies need this win. What does Bazooka Puppies needs to do, and what adjustments do you think they need to make this go to a game 5?
It's really tough, Boop. Everybody on the Copenhagen Flames team is a threat, and that's always going to be the hardest thing to come up against. Who are we going to be focusing down? Demaking that diva, removing the chance for any damage mitigation, pave the way for, the McCrees, the Tracers, the Genjis, or are we going to be diving the backline, or potentially, trying to get on Flippy, who has been a standout player for Flames so far? It's really a question.
Wow. Man, what a great series so far. Game 4 coming up. We're about a couple minutes away. So far, Ham, we've seen a lot going on. What does, Hardest playing that McCree, Zapri playing that Doomfist, and the thing that I want to know is now on the other side of that, is Copenhagen, if they keep doing what they want to do, are they going to take this, or do they need to make some adjustments as well?
I mean, honestly, Copenhagen, I'm just like, I'm still recovering, Boop, from that beautiful self-destruct. And I believe there was a setup, maybe a boop, maybe a bash of some kind to group everybody up so perfectly to get that beautiful 3K. So I don't know. Flames, go ahead, man. You are burning bright right now. The dual sniper is a great look. The dive, the death ball, the goats-esque compositions. I mean, when Hardest and Flippy are on the McCree and Brigida, respectively, it seems like there's nothing that this team can't do.
All right, so before we get into the last break, we're going to take a really, really quick break. It's going to be about 30 seconds to a minute while we do some adjustments, but we will be right back, my friends. Hello, everyone. We are back. Sorry about that quick break, but we are going into Game 4. Copenhagen is in the lead 2-1 against Bazooka Puppies. Bazooka Puppies trying to avoid a 0-2 start to their trials. And if you want a reminder, even though this is a different iteration of Bazooka Puppies, they barely made it back into Contenders last time.
Yeah, has been a rough road for the Puppies so far. They've played in Contenders trials, and unfortunately, so far this season, they've actually been the only Contenders team to lose. So they would really like to have a win to their name. Their last loss was also a grueling 5-map set that they barely gave up against, I believe, Shoes Money Crew. So this time around, they're hoping for a new story, a fresh start.
Well, they're writing their story right now, and they lost in a 5-game set, and then they potentially could bring this one to a game 5. We are on Dorado. Sombra must be feeling good about playing on some home turf, but knowing what we know about these teams so far and how that they've played during this series, what do you think both teams are going to come up with?
I mean, Sombra is certainly very strong on Dorado. We could even potentially see some Pharah, some Doomfist coming out of here. Of course, Widowmaker is always an option, but let's talk about the Flames, because they are back to their old shenanigans. It is going to be goats all day long as they are defending here. Flames in the blue, Puppies in the red this time around. And, you know, goats you certainly can also hold here. That means that you're likely going to just be giving up that high ground for free, you know, taking the fight on the road, trying to stop up that payload underneath that first bridge. Bazooka Puppies, they're going to have to make usage of those flanks, get a hack off onto Heiko potentially very early on to allow the way for Saab to get in a money nade. Of course, hacking Super Pluke, dropping that Rhine Shield is also an option for the Puppies here. Saab certainly a very capable Ana. It's going to be on the Puppies to be proactive in making openings, enabling their DPS and other heroes.
Well, we're about 5 seconds away to see if you are correct, my friend. Bazooka Puppy starting off with this offense, and it looks like Zapri will be staying on the Sombra. Sometimes we'll see this out of spawn just for some of the information, and then a switch. It looks like we're going to be complete here. Shield Bash onto Cranks isn't going to be enough to finish him off. The whip shot did land. It's going to be enough to scare him back into spawn to get that health. And look at Milky Man on the high ground. They know he's there. They're just waiting for the right opportunity. The translocate from Zapri is going to bring him into the back line. And look at this, Milky Man still on the high ground, Ham.
Yeah, Milky Man, he's just, you know, saying hello.
Hello.
Oh, no sprays, no emoting. That's all right. As Zapri has swapped onto that Doomfist Cranks on the Sombra this time around. Yeah, everybody on Copenhagen Flames getting knocked up in the air, but it's going to be Milky Man who's forced to escape right here. Copenhagen actually not taking a whole ton of damage. Once again, they have so many barriers, so much HP. It's really up to them as to where they want to hold. Whereas Bazooka Puppies, they have to continually dance around, keep repositioning themselves in order not to fall prey to one of those random fire strikes from Super Pluke.
Oh, Hardest very, very close to that grab. It's actually a very, very fast grab that he's getting. Hardest going to get the kill onto Zapri as well. That's going to help him get even closer as they are full-on spawn camping Bazooka Puppies right now.
Hardest pressing his face against the spawn door like those kids on glass patio doors.
Yeah, you can see the fog going out from his mouth. Milkman going to go ahead and jump into the back lane. Mete's going to drop the mines. The grab is there, gets 3. Coalescence going to rip right through them. They had to use the ultimates to push them back. Coalescence seems like it might be enough. They're going to wait for Zapri to come back before they try to get back on this payload.
Bazooka Puppies, they are investing pretty heavily in those one-shot heroes rather than going goats v goats with the Flames. You know, it is going to be very difficult to beat this team at their own game, but as of now, Puppies having a hard time finding their way out of spawn as Milky Man gets found out. Hardest lobbing in those nades right here, and he is already 50% up to yet another grab.
Well, very, very fast. Maybe the fastest we've seen in today's series. Foul Drive's only going to get 3. The shield was knocked up. They weren't unable to confirm any kills. Milky Man with that nano are going to go into the back, and combined with the biotic grenade, the heals aren't going to be there for the tank. Super Pluke does go down, and Copenhagen is finally looking weak on their defense for the first time since the start of this round. Bazooka Puppies also has the ultimate economy they need now. It's their choice on how they want to use it. Cranks is on that Sombra, able to get the kill on it to Flippy, and for the first time today, they have left spawn on Dorado.
Ooh, and you know what started it all off, Boop, was a beautiful anti-nade from Saab 2 in that fight to clean up things with Flames. I mean, Bazooka Puppies, they're sticking to their guns here, and now that the disruption has started to come to bear, this is where we see that paying the hugest dividends. All of Copenhagen Flames, you start disrupting those shields, nobody's getting the benefit of those barriers. That's where Saab comes in, throws in those anti-nades, and all the healing in the world's not going to be helping your ride.
Oh, gonna go ahead and use the Meteor Strike. Zapri is combined with the Graviton Surge. Nothing to it. It's gonna get stunned down because he knocked into a charging ride. Milkman gonna get the first kill of this fight. Is 6v5 for Bazooka Puppies. The proximity mine's also gonna get a kill on it to Flippy. Copenhagen's not gonna have that rally available, and another charge into a fist right there. Just taking a couple naps, you know. Just was a little tired. Needs to rest the legs a little bit.
Who would have thought that like an 800-pound suit of German engineered steel armor could meet up with a naked guy with a giant fist?
It's not quite naked.
Not
man.
quite
not
naked,
quite naked.
But
you know, physics,
yeah,
they're
physics.
a real thing. And so Copenhagen, it lets them get the first point. They have 2 minutes and 55 seconds left on the clock. Zapri is going to go ahead and be a little bit more aggressive and try to get to the back line. Was able to land the hook. EMP is going to land on about 4 or 5 of them. This is Zapri's opportunity to make some noise. He is taken low, but the shield produced by his ability is all he's going to need. He's going to be at another Meteor Strike already as Bazooka Puppy's also filling up the kill feed.
Oh, this is where Bazooka Bazooka Puppies are thriving. This is exactly how they want to be playing their game. Non-stop action, one after another. Hey, you thought that you weathered this uppercut from the Doomfist, surprise pile driver from the Hammond. Oh, all right, you're still alive. Well, Milky Man drops a big bubble down in the middle of your team, and you're not going to be able to get any healing from your healers. And Flames right now, they are struggling to mount any kind of defense. However, Heiko will have a bomb. Man alive, man. He has the potential to clear things because Puppies, once again, not going to have much static shielding, but already Mete in the back line. One kill for Milky Man from that Primal Rage, taking away all of Flames' DPS. This is a bloodbath.
Man, I love Milky Man's focus on the Lucio right there. Zapri already has the ult, so he's not going to get charged. He's going to hold on to it because he can right now, and they're trying to get this second point. Great sleep dart on to Flippy's, going to make that an easy kill for them, and they are approaching the second point, man.
I mean, that is just the story of this fight so far. Sleep dart into an uppercut, and now an EMP to seal the deal for Puppies.
Well, Cranks has been developing the EMP charge so fast, you might as well just use it right now. It's on cooldown, especially when you get 3 kills. 3 kills, 3%. That's all you need, right?
That's how ultimate math works.
Yeah, exactly.
3 kills, all 3%. But I mean, 3 kills, 3 ultimates for Bazooka Puppies. They still have a sound barrier. Gonna use it right now. Hey, sometimes you're just feeling the beat. I suppose definitely would have preferred to save it for the later fights. But Mete as well going to invest that minefield.
A unique decision coming from that Lucio. Just maybe asserting his dominance a little bit. You think we need shields? Well, we don't. Meteor Strike is going to go down. Zapri taken very, very low. Escapes at 9 HP. The shields are so good on Doofus. The support is there. He's already back to full health. Primal Rage for Super Fluke is not going to be enough as Heiko also goes down. So they're down a tank, and all they need is Flippy to get to that rally. They're going to be much better here on the defense.
Yeah, Lil Bao with that sound barrier as well, waiting for the perfect time. It might be now as Flames continue to cede space here. Bazooka Puppies are showing no signs of stopping. It's actually going to be Cave dropping that beat. Hey, why not drop it earlier? You're going to have another one in just a second. However, Hardest with the high noon finds that Lucio in the backline, and finally, Flames have bought themselves a stay of execution.
They have stabilized and needed a couple of ultimates for it, but they did it, and that's all that matters. There's only 1 minute and 41 seconds left, and arguably one of the harder third points to capture in an escort map. And the reasoning behind this is because this last point, you have to go through a couple corners, and the wall placement is so interesting in terms of map geometry.
I think you mean annoying for those of us who do not play hit scan like Hardest McCree, because you saw one of the reasons that Flames was able to hold was that flanking high noon from Hardest, able to shut things down. But Crank's now in with EMP.
It's before the sound barrier, though, so all the shields are going to stay on the Copenhagen Flames. That could prove to be a huge mistake. Self-destruct, not going to get anything. Mete did drop the mines as well. The self-destruct, though, is going to go ahead and destroy all of them. Really good counter there. Mete taking low. Zapri is going to need those shields once again. Is going to need this Meteor Strike to try to get through the McCree. He's going to go ahead and barrel roll right out of the way. He stays alive. Milky Man very close to that Primal Rage. That could be the ultimate they need to finally make it past this corner. Hardest with that high noon, though, is going to take Cranks out of the game, and this is a numbers game for Copenhagen now. 6v4. Bazooka Puppies are going to reset with 39 seconds left.
Copenhagen, they've swapped back onto their tried and true. You saw the peel Flippy affords Hardest right there. He was getting put under so much pressure, but Flippy there, not just with that shielding, but the heal pack as well to keep that McCree up and healthy. And now it's going to be Bazooka Puppy's turn to swap onto the goats a little bit last minute. Cave will be able to buy some time, sustain his team with a sound barrier, but Bazooka Puppies have completely reset their ultimate economy.
Well, I wonder if they had that sound barrier that he bad finger coming into this, if this could be a different story right
Always
now.
Possible.
Bazooka Puppies, though, have the sound barrier this time that needs to be big. Super Fluke, though, going down really, really early thanks to Milkman and that big fat hammer. Heiko's going to get D-Mech as well. Flippy taken to half health. These are the kills that Bazooka Puppies need. However, there is enough time for them to respawn. We are in overtime. I did not catch if that kill was before overtime, so it could be the longer spawn times. Heiko's going to go ahead and switch to that Zarya. Hardest, but 14 HP is going to rock that high noon. Might have been a little too low as Bazooka Puppies now has 4 kills on the kill feed bot. Trying to stall with that Transcendence, but to no avail. Bazooka Puppies are finishing Dorado.
Oh man, you remember earlier when I said that Puppies weren't going to be able to beat Flames at their own game? I take that back 100%. When, push came to shove, the Puppies were able to adapt. They recognized that this McCree was getting so much value. Hey, if this McCree, he can't cut through us, we just have too much meat. Wall of meat. What are you going to do about it?
Eat it. That's what I would
Just
do if I
eat it.
saw a ball of meat.
Just
Right?
eat it.
Anyway, but like hardest 14 HP, a high noon to try to win it all, and they knew exactly where it was. The diva came approach, and that's one of like the scariest things as a DPS player, right? When this big fat mech just comes right in your face. I love it against Pharahs too, right? Especially when you can get their own like AoE damage to kill the Pharah in the air. That's really
So
great.
annoying.
But
Yeah.
using your body like that as a tank is exactly what you want to do against a high noon.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to wear down Super Pluke so early on, he was a little bit mispositioned, potentially not expecting Puppies to take that high ground route. They pushed him right off of the ledge, corralled him in that tiny room, and just fell upon him and ripped him to pieces. And at that point, Flames, they had to cede space. They were down their main tank, and so Hardest wasn't able to go on his usual flanking route because the tanks weren't able to take up as much attention on the front line as they usually were. That high noon was unfortunately for naught, and the Puppies rack up a pretty good finish.
Yeah, well, something that we've been talking about all set so far is the word focus, right? Time to kill does have something to do with this as well. It's who are you focusing down? If everyone's doing their own thing, you're not actually being successful other than maybe charging your ultimate. The Bazooka Puppies came in with a lot more focus. Can you describe how that mattered and why that brought them to 3 points?
I mean, it was just a little bit of that heads up play because we actually talked about it earlier that the focus was a little bit lacking, right? But this time around, I think that potentially it could just be the fact that we are in a game, a map 5. They've seen this Brigitte McCree multiple times, and now they're going to be able to adapt. They absorb that information, and this is how we're going to respond to it with goats.
Classic.
Yeah.
That is a classic goats thing to say.
I mean, goats, they're actually a great herbivore, cute, friendly, nice, very intelligent animals, and they are also all-purpose. They can eat anything.
So there's actually a company where we're from that you can rent goats to mow your lawn.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you just like rent like 3 goats and you put them in your backyard, and like 4 hours later they like come pick them up.
They eat everything: weeds, brambles, tumbleweeds, and yuccas. Big problem.
And zenyatas.
And zenyatas,
Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
Cannibalized zenyatas. It's disgusting to watch.
So the pause will be over here soon, but we do need to see the Copenhagen attack. We're almost to that map 5. Dorado does need to get finished, and Bazooka Puppies set themselves up. They finished it in overtime, and they are up 3-0. It's exactly what they need. Of course, they won some time in the time bank, maybe even that 1 second, like Copenhagen had in Volskaya, but to no avail. 85.78 meters. That's finishing this 3rd point, and finishing Dorado is an accomplishment.
Yeah, certainly an accomplishment, and they've bought themselves that room, right? That cushion. So the win condition for the Puppies here is they just need to bite as much time off of the clock as possible. If they can keep Flames from finishing out the map, they've done their job right here. Flames themselves, they know not only do they have to go the distance, but even more. They got to do that 120%. Once they finish the map, they have to play at least another round. So, that can be a little bit wearing mentally, especially for a team that came into this series so hot.
So, I mean, the Copenhagen is the defending champions. It's 4 or 5 members of Eagle Gaming. Flippy was on that team, so was Super Pluke. We're seeing that experience come into play here, and I think really when you see experience, it's in those tight, crazy situations.
Exactly. Those do or die moments when your reactions a split second could mean the difference between you getting a 3K Diva bomb and getting 0. So Flames, they're definitely capable. They're more than enough. They have more than enough experience between the members of this team. And Bazooka Puppies, on the defense first is going to be that Genji Sombra defense once again. Flames sticking with their goats, at least in spawn. So, a little bit more of the same is going to all come down to that execution.
Yeah, speaking of execution, Cranks executed a lot of people with those Dragon Blades the last time we saw it, but only like 1 time, right? So on a character like that, you got to maintain that momentum. You got to maintain that accuracy to get those Dragon Blades to coincide with those nanos as well. And so look at this. We're actually seeing some early aggression from the Bazooka Puppies with that defense that they're rocking. Cranks is going to try to get to that Nano Blade as fast as possible, as everyone tries to do with their ultimates, honestly. Hardest, though, is not on that hit scan. It's going to be on that Zarya, and we're going to see how effective that's going to be. He's already at 85 energy in this first fight, and pretty much is a DPS as of right now. He's going to have his ally shield in just a second. The particle barrier will be available, and combined with the bio grenade that just painted them purple, that's exactly what they're going to need, as well as some great tracking from him to get Zafri down. Copenhagen has a beautiful first clean fight.
And they'll have ultimates rolling into their next engagement to seal the deal here on point A. Puppies, they were dancing around, you know, Crank certainly putting in the work, but unfortunately it just wasn't quite enough. A dive is very dependent upon, you know, those ultimates, whereas Flames, they can kind of just grind out those siege battles by nature of their tanky bodies. Zafri now on that. Doomfist goes down. Gonna have a little bit of time to rethink things in spawn.
At least he got the uppercut, right? That's every time I die on Doomfist, that's what I say. Milky Man on that nano to Winston. The Graviton Surge is there, but the hack is there to follow as well. So we'll see if that's going to matter. Heiko's going to get the first kill with that self-destruct. Copenhagen is down a member. Bazooka Puppy is looking really, really good so far. Milky Man, though, going down right before Primal Rage gets released. The Sound Barrier is going to go right off on cooldown and shield up the rest of Copenhagen Flames, but the kills are not there to follow. Bazooka Puppies are going to get the DMAC as well as the support kill, but there's a support kill on the other side as well. And if you look at Flippy, he's doing exactly what Brigida's are supposed to do. Get in front of their faces, get that shield dash, and get that Inspire healing. It is AoE healing for everybody, including himself. Mete is knocked onto the ground thanks to an Earth Shatter, and in a long, drawn-out fight, Copenhagen Flames are coming out on top.
Yep, it is those long, drawn-out fights where the GOATs comp, where that Brigida shines. Brigida's doing Brigida things, getting that AoE Inspire. That's a very kind way of saying WMS1. But regardless, Flippy's certainly very effective here, especially against Mete's Hammond right there. As we saw him stalling for time, he was able to get Milky Man, buy enough time for Milky Man to come back into the fight. But unfortunately, you're coming up at Brigida, and she's like, I wrote the book on the sustain game, okay?
Support, by the way. Bazooka Puppies has 2 ultimates. Meteor Strike can be very, very big. Let's see how big it's going to be. Zafri does get stunned, but they know that's an 8-second cooldown that Brigitte does not have anymore. The rally is very close for them, and he's going to want to get some kills before the Arbor goes down on some of these squishies. Hardest, though, has the Graviton Surge at the ready in about 10 to 15 seconds, maybe even just right now. Milky Man taken very low during the Primal Rage, and once again, this is something that Bazooka Puppies has been doing all set long, is dying with ultimates, man.
Dying with ultimates up, they're waiting for the perfect timing, but unfortunately, the situations are just not lending themselves to those ults, as Copenhagen were able to clean things up with just 1 ultimate invested, and that's incredible value right here, as Super Fluke will have that Earth Shatter at the ready, the rally even to buy even more time, give this attacking team even more sustain. So Cranks, I was about to say, had that EMP, but Caster Curse is real, man.
Died with ult once again, but this time it's probably reset with the team, probably on purpose. But at the same time, it's like you don't want to feed the ultimate charge to Copenhagen. They're already very far ahead of you. The rally is there. Super Fluke is looking at that Earth Shatter. I think, I'm sensing a fatty chatty right now. It's right there. EMP goes down from Cranks. No Shatter available just yet. Self-Destruct not going to get anybody. Super Fluke is painted purple, and that's why the heals aren't going to be there. Meteor Strike is down, gonna miss. Heiko's going to get very low, but Zafri's going to get stunned before he can do any more damage. Milky Man trying to get into the back line, but having less than 100 HP is not what you want. The heals are there, my friends. He is getting the damage and some more of that ult charge. He survives the fight. Copenhagen gets pushed back, and look, Mete is in the back line, gonna pile drive 3 people, and a great anti-nade coming from Saab is gonna make this defense work.
Saab has been such a huge difference maker for the Puppies so far. I feel like every single clean fight that the Puppies have had so far on Dorado have been off the back of a great anti-nade, because I don't care how much healing you have. Once again, if you're not receiving any because you've been anti-naded, it is all for naught. So Puppies once again managed to hold here, and they're actually doing not too bad, especially given how quickly they were rolled on point A. They've whittled down the time bank to less than 2 minutes, and they will still have this sound barrier at the ready.
And they're going to go ahead and jump into the backline. Hardest is going to use that Graviton. There are no other ultimates to counteract that. The Primal Rage was forced out, and actually Bod's going to go down because of this. The defense is actually doing very, very well. The offense is the one struggling. Meteor Strike does miss one more time. Flippy going to be uppercutted, but not too much damage done to him. Is going to use that whip, try to get that Inspire healing, but it's not going to get onto Super Fluke, as he is going to go down. Milky with another nano, and look at this, 2.5 kills on that pile drive. That's going to be hopefully the play of the game, so we can see that a little bit later. But Copenhagen, they looked good coming into this first point, but now they're struggling.
Yeah, they are starting to struggle, and you know what do the Copenhagen Flames do when they're struggling? They put hardest on the McCree. Why not? But I mean, Puppies have really dug in their heels now, cycling those ultimates really well, and now Cranks is going to have an EMP once again, a great initiator.
Flippy use the rally. They're going into this with extra beat, extra armor. The proximity mines combined with the EMP is there. Flippy's going to be the first one to go down, but again, we're in a situation where the kills might have been a little bit too fast, allowing Copenhagen to come in with another play, unless Bazooka Puppies are going to aggress upon their space and not let him get to the payload.
They're really trying to demech Heiko right now. Unfortunately, Flames got a little bit split up on that dive, and so half of them fell to the mines before they could even touch that payload. However, they will have one more chance here. No ultimates online, however, but the same can be said for Bazooka Puppy. Zachary is the closest. All he needs is going to be one good uppercut to get that meteor strike.
Here we go, my friends. Copenhagen Flames do not want this to go to a Game 5. Bazooka Puppies are trying to get them there. You know, when in doubt, use that McCree, right? He's going to take Zapri down. This is 6v5, but Hardest is taken low. The healing ore from bot is not enough. However, the Transcendence is very close as well. Milky Man is the one who got that kill with that Primal Rage. He's going to try to knock the Transcending Zenyatta away from his team so they cannot get the kills. The Primal Rage is now over. The opposing Winston is going to get very close to his Super Flute. Only 8% away. Meteor Strike unable to get any of those kills. Zachary taken very, very low. Great Sound Barrier to save his DPS in the backline. That might be enough for Bazooka Puppies as the DMEC and God are taken down. However, without Milky Man, there isn't a lot of beef there. Artist is popping off. He's trying to put the team on his back. So close to that high noon. No health, though. This has to be a miracle high noon, and that is not what we're going to see, as Mete is just going to bowl him over like a nice bowling pin with the cowboy hat on. And ladies and gentlemen, 10 games today. We are going the distance on this one, too.
Puppies pull through here. Oh man, what a great hold on Dorado. The Doomfist coming in clutch once again, and we are tied up once more, folks. Going to a Game 5. It will be Control Oasis, I believe. But man alive, what
You almost felt it like coming in, right? I'll finish
like,
that sentence for you, right? It's just like, you know, they alternated map wins this whole time. They,
exactly.
you know, both teams have been a little streaky when it comes to their momentum. And what better way to test the mettle of these two teams filled with veterans than a Game 5?
Game 5. But if we harken back to the beginning of the series, Nepal was taken by the Puppies, so there may
2-0.
Yeah, 2-0 as well. And classic Doomfist Sombra versus Goats in that fashion. So it may be a tale, a tale of two control maps once again for Puppies here, unless Copenhagen Flames can bring something new to the table, because Puppies have bested their Goats
a couple times now. But the one thing that Copenhagen has is I feel like they've been using their ults a little bit better than the Bazooka Puppies have. You know, they're not dying as much with those ultimates. It doesn't seem to matter for Bazooka Puppies right now, but in the future, I can see other teams really taking advantage of that.
Oh yeah, certainly. You definitely don't want to miss an opportunity because you got caught out of position, go down early, and then your team is forced to cede space because you were out of position. McCree. I'm just kidding. No, it's not always McCree's. And actually, Hardest was playing still a very good game. Again, it's kind of just, you know, you're the only DPS on this team. And when you are getting forced out, as we saw, you know, Milky Man was very on top of keeping the McCree uncomfortable. And even if you aren't able to finish off the kill onto the McCree, the fact that you're forcing him to back off, break those lines of sight, just to, you know, get a little bit of breathing room, means that he's not putting in damage. He's not hurting your team.
Each character has a job, right? And Winston's job is to make sure that the other character can't do their job, right? And in the simplest of terms when it comes to Overwatch, right?
He's anti-fun.
Yeah, and that's exactly how you want to play Winston and most tanks. You want to get in their face. You want to cause discord in their heads and their mental game, because if McCree can't start popping off, he's just useless, right? And so that's when you start using your ult to reload. And yeah, that can be super cool, but you do want a big ultimate to either zone the rest of the team away. And if you're going to use it for that reload, it's got to be worth it. And right now, Milky Man not allowing it to be worth it.
Yeah, for sure. Hardest really, having a hard time getting the same value that we saw early on in the series from his ultimates. McCree is a hero that requires a considerable amount of setup, right, and resources. Otherwise, he's just an old man with a bad back. Although he is getting that roll buff. So maybe no longer. Went to a chiropractor, worked out all the kinks.
Yeah, exactly. Got some deep tissue massage there to get 2 seconds off that roll. But that's not the world we're living in right now. We're living in the old roll. You know, he's starting to creak a little bit, just like we all will when we hit our 30s. But in Game 5, right? is that the person you want on your team at this point? Like, what comps are you going to run? Are you going to run, something that you're super familiar with, right? Like hardest on the McCree, or are you going to run something different?
I mean, honestly, I feel like Flames have looked the most secure on that McCree Brigida composition, and it is what they turn to when they're most uncomfortable, or when they really, really need that win. Of course, their dual sniper dive was also extremely effective on Volskaya. But if we're going to a control point, it's a lot less of those set fights, right? It's more chaotic, brawly. Control is really the great equalizer. Once you cap that point, it's a cap and kind of forget it type of thing. You can focus entirely on getting those kills, stalling for percentage. So it's a very different map type to run a Brigida McCree into.
So now going on to the other side, they have some comfort pits. You got Mete on that Hammond, who's been doing so well. That last kill on McCree last map was absolutely hilarious. Yeah, exactly. Right. Gonna go ahead. I'm just imagining just like a bunch of bowling pins with cowboy hats on them, right?
Right.
That's a sellable experience,
exactly.
I think. But, it's being more effective than other Hammonds that we've seen. The pile drives are a big reason because of that.
Yeah, and not just the pile drives in and of themselves, but this opening that it gives Saab on this Ana to throw in those anti-nades. They have been so good so far. And it's really on the tank line and the support line of Puppies. Kudos to them to be able to link up those two things, right? And as an Ana, having the faith that you're not going to need that nade for yourself because your tanks are going to be, peeling for you. You're going to be provided that protection, so you can throw it out in a more proactive and aggressive way.
Man, that grenade lasts just like when you were affected by it, it always lasts just like 1 second longer than you think it's going to.
Just a little bit too long.
Yeah,
right? And
exactly.
then when I nade myself to save myself, it never lasts long enough.
Yeah.
It's strange, right? Bug, you should definitely look into that, Jeff.
Please. But I hear the sounds. It looks like we're going to be getting into our next map here very, very soon. We are tied 2-2. Bazooka Puppies trying to avoid an 0-2 start, and Eagle Gaming trying to get to 2-0 themselves. And it's all going to be decided on this last control map. It couldn't get more exciting here in Overwatch Contenders Trials. One of my favorite things about this format is everyone's on even footing, right? We start this at 0-0. Couldn't be more fair. And now that we're at a game 5, it couldn't be more fair to test their mettle this way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, open division is open division, right? Contenders was Contenders. Now everybody round robin, everybody gets to play everybody else once. And so this is, Puppies' chance to increase their map record right now, as we will be on City Center for our first round of Oasis. So this is definitely a playground of Sombras. We do see Pharahs, potentially not this time around, given our two teams have really enjoyed the hit scan. So really up in the air as to who's going to be taking this, because right now it looks like it may be the same comps. Doomfist Sombra for the side of Puppies, along with Mete's Hammond, and then Copenhagen Flames pulling out that flippy hardest combo, Brigida McCree.
Well, we've seen these comps before, right? They're very, very comfortable running both of these comps. Zapri, though, has been very streaky on this Doomfist. It's either making a ton of noise or no noise at all. And on this character, you want to be making noise all of the time. The meter strikes have been a little bit lackluster. He's been getting a ton of them, so that doesn't seem to matter all that much.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Bazooka Puppies are really banking on that disruption. So, the fact that Zapri is able to take a ton of the Flames' attention onto himself and then get out of dodge, it still has some benefit here. Right now, Mete just rolling around, scouting. Him alongside Cranks, just seeing what they're coming up against. So it should be very little surprise. Lil Bal getting taken low as well very early on. And so Copenhagen Flames, they do have to watch out for their back line here, as Bazooka Puppies can make usage of this high ground, drop down right on their heads.
Hardest is going to try to get that high noon as fast as possible. Going to go ahead and try to throw out that stun. The purple is there, but they're not going to take advantage of it. Actually, Bod is going to go down very, very early on this fight. Heiko very close to losing the mech, and that's what we're going to see. Pile drive is there in the back line. Zapri trying to make some noise. Let's see if he's going to be able to get this confirmation on Lil Bo, and the answer is yes. Flippy is going to be one of the last remaining ones on here. The whip shot making it so the fist doesn't connect, but Hammond is there to finish off Flippy.
Yeah, and Bazooka Puppies, you know, playing a patient game right here, and they have reaped the rewards. Sound Barrier, EMP, Nano Boost, and Minefield all online for the Puppies right now. They do not want to go out with a whimper boop. They are ready to make their mark here on Oasis. For Copenhagen Flames side, all they'll have is the single High Noon Hardest. He's been able to get multiple kills beforehand, but not when you're hacked.
Oh, no, no, High Noon for you. Really well placed EMP. Bazooka Puppies acting like Copenhagen is just some kibble for them to eat, and that's what we're seeing in the kill feed right now. Bazooka Puppies looking very, very strong right now.
Yeah, Copenhagen Flames, Copenhagen Smoke. It has been very difficult for them to come up against those big EMPs, those anti-nades from Sob. So Bod will make that switch onto his own Ana here just to see if Flames can make their own openings.
Bazooka Puppies rocking 4 ultimates. Gonna be 5 here very, very soon. Copenhagen, not the same amount. We've got Hardest with a little bit of armor, using that High Noon to try to get his team on to the point. So that's gonna be a zoning High Noon. A long walk to nothing right there. Copenhagen, though, is going to be aggressed upon. Flippy and Super Fluke, taken very, very low. Super Fluke's actually gonna be the first one to fall. Milky Man has that Primal Rage, and so if he gets taken low, we're gonna expect him to pop it, but he's not gonna have the opportunity to be taken low, as Copenhagen's gonna decide to reset. Flippy is going to be on that rally here very soon. Is going to have to use it as they tried to reset. Bazooka Puppies is not letting them. Milky Man still has that Primal Rage. Sound Barrier is down for Copenhagen Flames. They're going to go ahead and invest everything they have into this fight. Bazooka Puppies have their own Sound Barrier as well. Zafri trying to do the damage. Not going to be doing enough. And Primal Raging Winston going to push Hardest all the way back to his spawn. Thanks to those flapping fists. Gets the kill. This is a 65 for Bazooka Puppies on the point right now. Zafri going to be really close to another Meteor Strike. Frank with the D-Mech and the kill onto Flippy. That will be enough for Bazooka Puppies to win at this point. Really great use of aggression to keep Copenhagen from resetting and coming in with a plan.
Oh man, Puppies, they did not let go of that point at all. Tenacious as a pit bull right here, 100-0. And Milky Man, certainly he wasn't getting all of the finishing blows in that fight, but taking so much of Copenhagen's time and attention right there. First of all, removing the DPS threat. Hardest had no way to focus on anything than trying to wear down that Primal Raging Winston, and then zoning, and then afterwards zoning out Lil Bao as well. So, you know, that's no healing on the point. Bazooka Puppies looking very strong right now, but University is a whole nother beast. This is a map that even before GOATS always favored that shield heavy, tank heavy composition. So this may be where Copenhagen are able to even things out.
It's a big square in the middle of a building, and so all of these AoE abilities are going to be so strong. And let's not forget these boots into the pit here. That's pretty much a boot off of the environment. You're going to take so much time, because Reinhardt's are the ones that get boots in here, to come back onto the point, and by that time it might be a little bit too late. And so what we're seeing now is what we like to call just aggressive eye contact, getting that ultimate charge there. Looks like the point will unlock and the fight will happen here on this point. Hammond is going to knock Super Fluke into the air, and it's going to be followed up by a charge with that Doomfist. They can both get knocked onto the ground, and Mete is going to be doing the damage. Copenhagen Flames having a hard time getting that damage into the backline, but not anymore, as Cave and Zapri are going to get taken very, very low. Most of Bazooka Puppies are below half health, but Copenhagen unable for any kills outside of the one onto Frank. Great nade onto Flippy, but they could not get the kill. It wasn't fast enough, and it looks like Bazooka Puppies are going off of the point, looking for those health packs, trying to come in with more damage, and now they're the ones with the advantage on that space, as Copenhagen are trying to funnel through this main entrance, and Bazooka Puppies really turning it around now, but the D-Mech onto Diva, that is one less tank. Coalescence is online for the Copenhagen of Flames. Zafri not taken low at all, thanks to those shields and that ability damage. Hardest rocking 490 HP, but it might not be enough to grab this point, which hasn't been taken yet.
Hasn't been taken as of yet. It's Bazooka Puppies who are set up on here. Ironically, Copenhagen on the outside looking in. It will be a Sound Barrier invested in for Lil Bao. Now Hardest has that Graviton Surge, releases it right away. They're trying for that bigger bang combination, and no! Static shielding, and that's what you get once again. Heiko in with that 3K, and it should be Copenhagen Flames securing the point.
What a long first fight. You saw that. I bet everyone was doing the same thing. You saw the self-destruct. You saw there was no shield, and and we get the 3 kills once again.
It's like going over the edge of a roller coaster, right? You're just prepping your body for that vertigo.
Exactly. Copenhagen looking good right now. Sob does have that nano. And remember, we are in Game 5. Bazooka Puppies are on match point for the first time all series. Copenhagen is going to knock some people down. Heiko and Super Fluke looking very, very good right now on the point to maintain their presence here.
Yeah, Mete manages to escape with his minefield still intact, his hamster ball as well. And so Copenhagen, they invested, all of their ultimates now. They are sitting at 0, but Hardest, with the way that he has been charging his energy, charging that ultimate, he likely have another Graviton Surge the next time Bazooka Puppies engage.
78%, got 10 more things to his right click. Pile Drive is going to get 4 members of the Copenhagen Flames. Nano on to Zafri. Meteor Strike is there. Is the extra damage going to be enough? No, it will not. As a great stun coming from Brigitte before he was able to follow through with the fist, and goes down thanks to that coalescence from Bod, who seems to have it on cooldown, as all good Moiras should. Super Blue getting knocked into the backline. He is isolated right now, but the Primal Rage is going to keep him and actually knock him back into his team. Pile Drive actually probably trying to go into the hole to get that health pack and run away, but we're not going to see that. Huge grab gets 4 of them, and Copenhagen Flames using their ultimates to the best of their ability after bringing them up online during that fight.
Yeah, exactly. Copenhagen, you may have said, maybe you didn't need that Graviton Surge to finish things out, but once again, it's about sending a message. Cranks, he's been so quiet this entire game. Is this the first EMP he's gotten? Hopefully it's going to be a good one, because Bazooka Puppies are down to their last fight here. They have to land a good EMP, as Super Fluke is ready with that Earth Shatter.
Here it is. He's going to unleash it. He can't die before actually translocates out. He's going to run out of time, and now Bazooka Puppies are rocking 5 people on this point right now. It's not the numbers you want. Zafri taken very, very low. Cranks unable to get that EMP until right now, but it was after Super Fluke used the Earth Shatter. They're very lucky that the Earth Shatter was raised. Really great anti-nade onto Copenhagen Flames. Hardest, though, with all that extra HP doing the work. 71% on that grab. Potentially can have it by the end of this fight. Another coalescence from Bod. No particle barriers, though, as Hardest is hacked, but another kill for Bod on that coalescence. Zafri so low, gets taken down by Heiko. This is now an 5v4 on the point for Copenhagen. Mete is shielded right now, but not for long. Flippy taken very low. There is the grab. Actually misses everybody, but Copenhagen doesn't allow Bazooka to come onto the point, or Bazooka, maybe, in better words, weren't able to get onto the point, and it is tied, my friends. We are going the full distance. We are in mile 26 right now for Marathon.
All the way, man. This is down to the wire. A Graviton Surge didn't catch anybody good because they unfortunately had no bodies on the point. So Copenhagen, they are looking so strong right now. Bazooka Puppies, I would really reconsider this Sombra pick. There is going to be a pause here, potentially some player technical difficulties, but Cranks, honestly, very, very quiet. Not something that we expect from this Sombra, who's, really popped off in the past, but it might just be that map geometry. University favors those tanks, and there's not a lot of places that the Sombra can run to translocate back to without, taking herself so far out of the fight that, she's not really adding anything back in fast enough fashion.
And they got super lucky. Super Fluke missed that Earth Shatter, was unable to get a big one, and the EMP was there to stop that, right? And, it kind of worked out for Bazooka Puppies, but they were unable to take advantage of that missed Earth Shatter.
It's really a hard thing coming up against tank-heavy compositions, because once that death ball gets rolling, it is very, very hard to stop. You start cycling those ultimates, and you know that a team like Copenhagen Flames are going to have the discipline to do so. Grab first. We went off the back of that. If not, then we'll invest the Earth Shatter. Nobody's blowing all their ultimates at once, so they always have tools left to try and to face these engagements. And because of the shielding that they have due to the Reinhardt that they're running, they're able to take space so easily. We saw that every time Milky Man tried to engage himself, initiate those fights, he was taken so low, taken down to half health, and was forced to jump back or disengage almost immediately.
Yeah, and Hardest was a big part of that, with some great barriers as well as some really good gravitons, which felt like he was getting them faster than Bod in those coalescences, right?
Right.
High energy, high percentage all the time, and we're in round 3 of Game 5 of this set. It could not get any closer. This is it for Copenhagen and Bazooka Puppies. Whoever wins this round will win the set, and either move. And Bazooka could go to 1-1, and Copenhagen could go to 2-0, and the fight is happening on the point right now. D.Va unable to make it to the high ground because Zapri was there with that fist. Seismic Slam's going to knock a couple people up. The cooldown on that fist was ready to follow up. It is a 5v5 right now. Flippy was able to get Milky Nut, but that kill onto Zapri is going to open up the point for the Copenhagen Flames. And looking at this ult charge, they are all ahead of their counterparts. Hardest is going to try to get this pesky little weasel that is a Mete. You know, Weasel Hamster, same thing, my friends, and is going to get the kill on him. Copenhagen is getting really good stagger as well, as Lucio's going to go down.
Weasel, Hamster, I would say a groundhog because Mete is 6 feet under. Bazooka Puppies give up the first point, and this is crucial for Flames to cap first. Now they can once again go back to that old playbook, start rotating those ultimates, and check out Hard as he is glowing with the power of 1,000 suns, so close to his first Graviton Surge. However, this time around, Cranks will have that EMP at the ready. A great initiator right here, shut down all of the barriers and cooldowns for the entire Flames team.
If he's going to invest the EMP, they have to grab the point. Graviton Surge is going to get the supports. Are they going to be able to get the kills? Only on Ana so far. Lucio is a little bit delayed thanks to that bio grenade. The healing from Lucio was helping both of them out, but now this is a 6v4 on the point. Copenhagen looking very, very good. Really great charge kill on to Zapri. Hack is down. Hardest unable to use his own particle barrier, but it doesn't matter. 29% on his next grab. He did use it during that fight to grab those two supports.
Yeah, and Super Fluke getting that Earth Shatter right there. Unfortunately, Mete was cut off from the rest of the team. Didn't get the notification potentially not to use ultimates through that minefield out. So that's going to be one tool down for Puppies coming in. But Zapri is ready with that Meteor Strike. He hasn't been finding a lot of targets so far, but this time around he may have a better chance.
A 100 charge on a Hardest. He's a DPS at this point. Look at the coalescence damage along with Hardest. His particle laser going in with those tanks. That is so much damage coming from him. Zapri going to go ahead and Seismic Slam onto the ground. Is he going to connect with that fist? No, he's going to use it to get into position. Sound barrier is there for Bazooka Puppies. Does touch everybody. Graviton Surge as well. Copenhagen uses the combo to the best of its ability. Heiko, you know exactly where Hardest's mind is.
Oh my goodness. These bigger bang combos, new universes have been birthed today. The Copenhagen Flames are absolutely crushing it with this. 7 seconds left. Bazooka Puppies, you got to make usage of all 4 of those legs. Get some bodies on the point.
The rally is there for Flippy just in case Mete was able to get on the point, but this is going to mean there's going to be a slight stagger for Bazooka Puppies. Mete was able to drop the proximity mines, is actually going to stay alive. Had about 10 HP and a dream, and look at that Earth Shatter going down. EMP is out as well, but Copenhagen knows exactly what to do in response. The sound barrier is there. They're looking pretty, they are looking good, and they are looking like the winner of Oasis. The Copenhagen Flames are going to win this set 3-2, dropping Bazooka Puppies to 0-2 in Overwatch Contenders Trials.
What a dominant win right there on Gardens. Copenhagen Flames have certainly woken up, and they played that so beautifully, able to use what should have been the strengths of Bazooka Puppies against them. We saw that so many times at the Doomfist coming in, but it was just positional awareness from the Flames team to deny him any bodies to hit, to punch with his rocket punch. So what does he do? Okay, well, he's going to stop short, put himself out of position, or, have to use his cooldowns just to get out of harm's way. And so it was a very effective neutering of the Bazooka Puppies that time around.
Very well done, neutering. Gonna end that with a bang, right? So that is it for us, for Ham and I. We still have the desk to go to, but just so you guys know, Copenhagen Flames wins this 3-2 in a 5-game set. The last game went to 5 games. We got all 10 games today, which is so exciting and proves that Overwatch Trials is something that everyone should be watching. We will be back next weekend, but first, let's go ahead and take it to the boys on the desk. Labasco, take it away.
Thank you very much. And of course, Vowels and Kenobi joining me on the desk here for this post-game show. Like you heard Boop say, it was a 3-2 win for the Copenhagen Flames. We saw Copenhagen make some really great moves with their scouting to help them get some wins. We saw them make some good adjustments. We saw some great things from Bazooka Puppies to push them to the brink. But I want to start first with Volskaya here, looking back at just the second half games. Copenhagen, the big thing, we saw it go back and forth, but they do scouting at the beginning when they're doing their rollout, and it makes a difference. Why is that such an important and integral part to team play when you're talking about such high levels like Contenders China? I want to hear from you, Vowels.
Well, the classic example is the final round of Volskaya for both of these teams. Copenhagen Flames, they left spawn with a fully tank-heavy composition, I believe it was. No, so they left spawn with a double sniper, sorry. They saw it, that they were going up against the classic dive, the Genji, the Tracer. They immediately ran back into spawn, put Hardest onto the McCree, put Flippy onto the Brigitte. It's a much stronger comp against a full dive, and then they immediately just charge in off the back of that, win the fight, easy peasy. When we saw the Bazooka Puppies on the offense, we didn't see the same effect. They came out of spawn. They had a bigger time bank than we saw from Copenhagen Flames, but they didn't make those They didn't scout and then make those changes. They just rushed head in with what they originally ran out of spawn with. It didn't work, and even though you then make the swaps, you've only got about 50 seconds left on the time bank, and you fed the ultimate economy over to your opposition. So the fact that Copenhagen Flames were able to use these scouting rollouts to be able to gather information and make the necessary swaps was a decisive factor, especially in Volskaya, but throughout the series.
When you look at something like that too, Kenobi, I mean, we see obviously that makes a big difference, but how difficult is it for a team to make rollout plans like this where they do that scouting when, especially you talk about a Sombra heavy meta or metas where there are very mobile players that can go and get that advanced scouting? I mean, how difficult is this? Is this something that teams can, like Bazooka Puppies, can maybe adjust and add into their play style very quickly?
Yeah, I think it's something each team should learn. And, it's easy to say, just pick Sombra and just go and like scout. But there's a certain kind of style to doing so. Is if you're going to be running, what they, like Val said, you're rolling in on double sniper, and then you see, what the changes are. Making a reactive change like that is something that separates kind of the contenders from the pretenders, I'll say, because being able to understand that you need to make that type of switch and that what you're running isn't going to work. Like Val has mentioned, the alt charge in Overwatch is a game of alts a lot of the time. If you're feeding that alt charge and then yourself, you've been running this composition very tank heavy, and then you don't stick with it, not only are you making wholesale swaps, but you are changing the fact that you have been lapped basically in ultimate charge. You're not going to have any ults, so you're just basically grasping at straws for that last push. So I think it's definitely something teams should look out to do more. It happened a lot before Sombra had that infinite stealth with the divas would go in and scout, but now with Sombra, I don't see why there's a reason why you don't try and scout ahead, especially in those moments where it's basically a do or die moment in the last fight of a last round.
Right, you don't have to wait for the tab button to be pressed to find and hold and wait that, what is it, like 15 seconds or whatever it is. You can find that information so much faster. Maybe it's 30. My math is terrible right now. We're not going to make me do math. But you were talking about alt usage as well, Kenobi, and that was something that was pointed out in those last few maps, was one of the big differences here between these two teams as well, is just the ability to manage that alt economy.
And I think it was also not only managing the alt economy, but specifically managing cooldowns, which is something else that a lot of teams, the better teams, know how to do and know how to do well. And it shows a lot, because there were times where on the side of Bazooka Puppies, they were running a lot of the Doomfist Sombra, and for Copenhagen, they didn't really have the idea of how to, stop that. They tried to play the Brigitte, but Brigitte was just not having the best day with the cooldowns, missing some shield bashes, as well as, just not being next to your healers, so that the supports would just get blown up automatically when the Doomfist was there. So by the end, and when we went to Oasis, I saw a lot of better play, a lot of keeping of the shield stun, just so you could wait until that Doomfist came into the backline, stun him, and then use also the Lucio boop. I saw the good usage of that as well. So making sure that the Doomfist couldn't be as big of a threat as it was in previous games, and that really led them to win Oasis.
And for Dorado, that was a really big part of why they won it, was the Doomfist. It was also the Hammond Vowels. What about those two characters was making it so difficult for Copenhagen to really deal with them? Obviously, we saw what their answer eventually was the Brigitte, but Brigitte is not always the best answer. There was more to it than just that.
Crowd controlled chaos. You get it. You dive in with the Hammond and the Doomfist. You cause so much chaos. You have so many stun abilities to just disrupt and displace enemies. And then off the back of that, you just win team fights on the back of that. It's chaos. The enemy doesn't know how to react. And like Kenobi was alluding to, it was the fact that Flippy and Lilbo were able to tighten up their gameplay, get a little bit smarter with the Brigitte and the Lucio, that was eventually able to counter out those Doomfist Sombra compositions. But it's much easier said than done.
It's definitely something that is going to continue to develop as we go through trials as well. We know which patch we're on. We don't have some of the changes that came through just recently, like McCree getting the lower cooldown on the roll and things like that. But we saw McCree be extremely effective throughout the day, regardless. Anyways, especially too because of one of those crowd control abilities that he has. Moving forward for the side of Copenhagen, I mean, how much of this for them is making sure that they can use fully to their advantage what they have in a great DPS player in Hardest?
Sorry. Go ahead, Vals. Go ahead.
It is like Hardest is definitely a really good McCree, and a lot of Copenhagen strategies were just pocket him, let him pop off, prevent the opposition diving into him. And I think maybe an adjustment we didn't see so much from Bazooka Puppies is move over to the more tank-heavy compositions. Even if you can't go toe-to-toe with Hardest on a McCree matchup itself, utilize tank-heavy compositions and speed routes from Lucio and just run over the composition, because once McCree is stuck in the thick of it, sure, he can combat roll once, but he doesn't have much escapability other than that. I feel like the way that they were playing the dive composition, so it's a bit more long range, and then trying to go in one by one, it just fell into Hardest lap, able to throw into flashbangs, get a couple headshots off, and pick apart your team.
Yeah, and on top of that, when you have like a Brigitte along that they paired it along with the McCree, I mean, that's just so much so much CC that you have for the anti-dive. It's just very difficult for you to get that kill onto the McCree, especially just like Brigitte in general. You have that burst healing if your McCree gets dove on and you can't roll away. Again, we're at the point where he's at an 8-second rollout, as you mentioned. Once he gets that 6-second, it's going to be a little bit easier for McCree's to deal with the heavy tanks. But in this current meta, I think the best way to deal with McCree is just to go a heavy tank composition, just like Val said, run him over.
Yeah, and one last thing, Zapri, obviously great on the Doomfist, and was something that could really be effective. Is there a way to make a Doomfist comp more effective than what they were doing, Kenobi?
It's hard to say, because there were a lot of times where he was getting like hard pocketed, and he was doing a very good job of getting into the back line and getting out safely. There were times where he's living with, minus about under 20 health, which is, those should usually be kills. That's when the team is just yelling, they're one, and you're not getting that kill. So they did a good job of pocketing him for the most part. It's just that sometimes when you have like this Brigitte on the other side and you have a lot of these stun abilities, if the CC is stacked correctly, even the best of healers is probably going to make it difficult for you to heal through that. So maybe adding a Brigitte into the mix so that you do have that, just burst healing from the Brigitte might be something that they look forward to. But I think for the most part, they did a good job of making sure that that Zergy had like a really good Doomfist. It's just that it, against all the CC coming out from the other side, it was very hard to play perfectly.
It's definitely something that's difficult, and it's difficult to be a perfect broadcaster, but you can become close to that if you join us at Broadcast.gg. We help you grow as a broadcaster. We're constantly creating opportunities for exposure and practice like this one that you're seeing right now. And guess what? We're doing Contenders trials as well. It's awesome. So we're always doing that, collaborating on resources to push esports forward. So if you also share love for esports, make sure you join up in the Discord. There's a link in the panel down below. Vowels, Kenobi, it's been a great cast here. As always, want to thank our other casters that we had doing the games. We had Lemon, Kiwi, and Heroix with the first game. Then, of course, we had for the second game, Boop and Ham. And then, of course, a very big thank you to the one who makes this all possible, in Sunkern. She did a great job behind the scenes as our producer. But that's going to do it here for us. That's going to wrap up week number 1 of Contenders Europe Trials.